Hello, fam. Good evening. Welcome to another day of our Smart Financial Move series. Today is day 6. Awesome. My name is Jidine, your favorite financial educator here on TikTok. And for the past 5 days, I've been streaming every day, coming here to talk to people like my color in Diaspora, so that you can actually structure your life and position yourself for the kind of life you came here to live in the UK. So we've been having that conversation, and I do this once every quarter for 15 days back to back, whereby I cover several topics like number one, understanding the system. Many of us come to the United Kingdom, and what we're expecting is, I don't know what notion you had, that once you just get to the diaspora, life will set and things will start working as expected. But you discover that it has not been like that. So it's good for us to get to understand the system so that we can position ourselves and make the most of what life has to offer us, especially for those of us in the diaspora. Good evening, bro. How are you doing? It's been 5 days. We spoke about dealing with debt. We've spoken about credit reports and credit card, how to grow it. And yesterday we spoke about the journey, the 4 quadrants, and it's been awesome. I don't know what it is like for you, what you've learned so far in all our engagement. But for me, I want to believe that mentally something is shifting, gradually, so that you can start looking from the right lenses. And today we'll be having a very good conversation. Mr. Z, how are you doing, bro? Today we'll be having a good conversation. You remember what I started with yesterday? I'll quickly do a quick recap of what yesterday was, so that we can see how we start moving into the mainstream of what our conversation will be about. Guys, if you are joining me for the first time, my name is Jidene, your favorite financial educator here on TikTok, and I talk to people of my color. So this, for me, I will tell you, is the next few days to the end of the month will be one of the most productive season you have ever been on TikTok. How are you doing? I'm doing good. Today was more of a relaxed mood for me. One of the most productive season you'll ever have on TikTok. Why? Because you will discover that a man is locked in based on the limitation of knowledge he has. Now, I can create a problem, or I'm dealing with a problem at a level. I cannot solve that problem at the same level of knowledge with which it was created. So there's always a need for a superior understanding. And something I've discovered about life, people don't just become anything by just praying. There is the praying part of it, there is the knowledge part of it. I like the Bible a lot, and the Bible says wisdom is the principal thing. You find out that wisdom is what people build on. What you don't build by knowledge and wisdom, you find out that it's difficult for it to last. So that's why we are having this conversation. And yesterday we had a very major conversation, letting you to know that every one of us can start at a particular space, but there's nothing that is written that we have to remain at that space. Guys, I am going to go again and start the conversation this evening with this diagram. I'll be turning my screen right now to show you the diagram. Once you can get to understand this, trust me, liberation has really started. All right, so everybody in life, literally, we have this journey pathway in life. Guys, we should be past 1,000 likes. So let's keep liking. I don't want TikTok to break my flow. All right, so everybody has this pathway in life. This is age. All right, so I've called this age. Why? This is productivity or performance, depending on what you call it. All right, so from age 0 to age 18, literally, it is called your dependency period. At this age, you don't take care of yourself. You depend on people to take care of you. You depend on a system to provide for you, either your parents or your guardians, people who you are under. So in other words, nobody is expecting you to start taking care of bills, all things being equal, at this particular age. But once you reach this threshold, there is another certain age which becomes critical for you. May I call it age 60? Just for example's sake, I can reduce it personally, but let's keep it at 60. Thank you to those who are tapping. Thank you. Between age 18 and age 60, I call it a gift. Another word I like calling it is a trust. Why? Because this is your most active season of life. This is the season whereby you can create and you can make. So this is a season whereby you don't just dream, but you learn to what? To start creating and building. Why? Because this is the same season whereby you have energy to construct and to build. But unfortunately, many people don't understand the fact that whatever you do in this season of your life end up determining what the remaining of your years will be. Let's assume you live to 88, because this is another dependency period. So many of us at this stage, unfortunately, we use it to build another man's vision. We use it to build another man's dream, not knowing that they only keep us for as much as important as they see us. While if you are creating, is with the aim that when you get to a certain age, you leave off legacy. When your energy is not there to push again, whatever you use this most blessed and active season of your life to do is a major determinant to what you will be saying at this phase. And many of us came into UK at this phase of our life. But the question I'm asking is, what are you creating? What are you building? Is that thing going to take care of you in the future? The way you are constructing it now, hope you know that you are not getting young. There was a time you were 32. Now you are heading into 43 years old. Don't you know that the time is ticking and this is the most active season? So it's good. Many of us, like I showed us in the diagram, the next diagram, that many of us came into the UK during this active season and we came as employee. All right. So I said we'll discuss all these quadrants. Why? Because as employee, there's a limit to what you can earn. There is there's just a lot of limits. Why? Because your earning cap is limited, number one. Number two, you trade your time for money. And trust me, nobody will pay you your real worth in the real sense of it. But why they keep you here is because of the value you are bringing into your workplace. But many of us has limited ourselves alone to this place, and some of us are not even maximizing this place. The highest salary increment you can get in a corporate space usually is 3% increase. And it's sad to say that many of us can be on the same salary scale for 4 to 5 years, except when government increase the minimum wage by another 50p. So the question is, if I am using this period of my life, but I am not creating, I'm not building, then what will take care of me when I don't have the strength to work again? So today we want to start with this conversation, this place. How can I maximize it? How can I utilize it in a way whereby it's a lot easier for me over time to move to the next quadrant? I'll be talking about this next quadrant tomorrow. So we'll take our time to talk about all these quadrants. But let us start with this employment or being an employee. Every one of us that came into the UK, literally, except if your papa be Dangote, would have to work once in a lifetime. And I like to start with my story because I had my own fair share. We came into the UK in 2022. And when we came in the UK in 2022, I definitely, like every one of us, we had a dream that this is what one life to be like, or what this is what we're expecting. Oh, I said I will share this live stream with somebody. Let me quickly do. Guys, if you love anybody that matters to you in life, please share it with them. Very important. Let's get more people to this engagement because we'll be talking about the job space. At least every one of us is starting as an employee. How can we create a pathway, a journey, to move from just warehouse or only care job to start moving to where we want to be? Why? Because none of us, trust me, none of us came into this country to settle for low pay. Even the immigration rule is telling you that there is less value on people who are at the lower end of the pay. Look at the rules that they are developing. Those that earn 50k and above, they can do 5 years. Those that earn less than 50k, they can probably do 10 years. And some, unfortunately, will still have to do 15 years. Can you see that the system is only putting value on those whose earning capacity is increasing? So you find out that this is not just, and I'm not doing this only because of immigration. I'm doing this why? Because there is value in you. For how long will you settle for less? Let me go back to my own story. So we came into the UK in September 2023. And my wife is the main applicant, so I'm the dependent. And we came with three children. So imagine coming into this country with three children, and both of us have to look for a way of earning money to take care of the family. All right, so for us, we had a little bit of soft landing, and I'll explain what I meant by soft landing. Not that anybody gave us money, but what I meant is we are opportune to land in a what we call a shared apartment, and we had two rooms for a family of five. So our children were in one room. I was in me and my wife were in the other room. So imagine that kind of setting. That is not bad. At least it will reduce our cost of living to an extent from rent. All right. So now it came to job. My wife is the main applicant. I would have to put priority on her. Why? Because she is the one that we are all depending on from an immigration point of view. So it means that I cannot do anything during the day when it comes to work. I am open only to the night shift. And whenever she goes out, the three kids are on me. So I'm the one taking care of the kids. All right. So the first job I was opportune to get was a Tesco warehouse job, a cold room. A cold room. Imagine coming in winter season, and your first kind of job is a warehouse job that is a cold room. I can remember Dagenham, to be more specific. The size of the warehouse is almost the size of 4 to 5 football pitch. No, there's a side that is a mini cold, the other side is deep cold. So there are times that I'll be coming from warehouse early in the morning, and I would not need to use any winter jacket. Why? Because my body temperature is already scattered from where I'm coming. So imagine doing that back to back, back to back, back to back, just to make sure life makes sense. At the same time, I came in as a digital marketer with almost 13 years of experience when I came into the UK. So I started applying like every other one person, so that at least you can start moving towards your career or your profession. But unfortunately, I started discovering something here that unfortunate now, like for me, you go, they use and rub body easily. Yeah, for the UK. It got to a point, and I say maybe the corporate space is not meant for me. So I kept on with my warehouse job for about 3 or 4 months. After 3 or 4 months of doing the warehouse job, my wife was transferred from that from she was in Basildon. So she goes from Dagenham to Basildon to work. So we're now transferred to Watford. By that, we had to start looking for house and move to Watford. Then I now discovered the second thing here in this country. You get money, no mean say they go give you house for rent. I had to stop my work in preparation of the fact I mistakenly stopped my work earlier in preparation of the fact that okay, very soon we'll get house in even if it's not Watford, but somewhere a little bit cheaper, so that we can move. Guys, we were on it for 3 months. Imagine not working for 3 months. 3 months of your life not working, all because you feel that's a structure. So after a while, I discovered I don't feel just sit down, they wait for house or rent all the while. Why? Because I'm already depleting my expense, my savings that I've saved for a while. What did I do? One of my friends told me that there's work in O2 Arena as a cleaner. So the back end of O2 Arena, there's a lot of piles of rubbish that is being generated by all those pubs and the stores within O2 Arena. So we are the one that usually clean it at night. But unfortunately, the pay was just £12. So it can barely take care of anything at home. God helping us, we were able to get a property somewhere in Luton. Luton to Watford is about 44 minutes drive, minimum 44 minutes drive. So my wife would have to drive from Luton to Watford every day to go to work. But one thing started happening in Luton. We got to Luton, say I don't leave my job all this because I had to move from London to Luton. We got to Luton and I was looking for a job. I could not find any job, guys. We got to Luton in March, April, and May. End of May, I could not find job. How much is our house rent? 1,550. Imagine a man with 3 kids moved to Luton and you could not find job. Guys, my wife, where she was working before, sometimes it's so shocking that the monthly salary they will give to her is £800 at the end of the month. Wow. She dey work with our people, our blackie, those guys, God forgive them, 800 pounds. So imagine how that life is. There are times that me and my wife go dey fight unnecessary fights, not be because of anything na money. God helping me, one day I was able to get another warehouse job whereby I was working in a car parts warehouse. So we're the one packing different car parts where they will move to different cities and countries. We also ship to Spain and some other European countries. So, when you start a work like that, for the first few months, they no go comot anything tax from your salary. So because they did not comot tax, I was able to meet up with my expenses. But once they introduced tax and NI, guy, I could barely pay house rent. Nobody needed to tell me that, guy, if you continue like this, you'll just be rolling in a circle and you would have nothing to show for it. That's how one of my Indian friends, oh, thank God for India, sometimes they get information. That's how the Indian friend, thank you so much, told me that, bro, there's Amazon at Milton Keynes. They are employing people. Their work is easier and you will get more pay. And like, so I carry my two right and left leg. I head to Amazon for Milton Keynes. So I got to Milton Keynes and something started changing gradually. Let me give you a routine of how my day usually go on a normal day. Remember, my wife is the main applicant, so I am the dependent. So this is what we do on a normal day. I wake up 5:30 to pray, so that my wife can get ready, so that she can go out by 6. Why must she go out by 6? She will drive 44 minutes, and her first shift is around 7 o'clock. So she has to wake up, and both of us wake up early. Once she does that and she goes out, I'll be the one. I should be able to catch more sleep before 7:30, so that by 7:30 I wake up the kids, I take their births, I get them ready for school, and I get their food ready. Why? Because if I no do, the only thing with my wife will do now afternoon food for us, so the morning food will be on me. So I get them ready, take them to school by 8:30. So once I take them to school by 8:30, then my last one was just in foundation 1. So he was not qualified for 30-hour school. So because of that, every week it was only opportune to have a 15-hour shift, which means that every day the maximum amount of hours he will spend in school is just 3 hours. So imagine taking your child to school by 8:30. That will be 9:30, 10:30, 11:30. By 11:30, you don't go pick that small boy. And say once that boy don't enter house, every other sleep wey you wan sleep don dey disorganized. I will stay with him till 3:30, go and pick the elderly ones. Once I pick the elderly ones, I start preparing wetin they go eat for dinner. Why? Because by 6:37, I must be ready to go out for my own night shift. So imagine that kind of life. So when I go out for my own night shift, if I no do overtime, I'll close around 3:30, get home around 4:30. Yeah, around 4:20, 4:30. So 4:20, 4:30, imagine. That means I have to sleep and wake up by 5:30. Me and my wife pray, and I continue life again, continuously that way. I discovered that if I no dey careful, the UK wey I come look for, hope say no be the UK go send me back go where I dey come from. So I started talking to my friends, and they said, Jide, the way we dey do am, we do 2 shifts, or we get 2 jobs that we're doing. So we do some in the day and we do some at night. So during the day they do care work, at night they do what we call it, warehouse at Amazon. So I thought that, yes, Jide, go guy, you too, you can give it a try. But in the course of trying to look for another job, I was opportune to be in a church, and that church was a blessing. I remember when we stood as first timer that day, and the brother that came to welcome us said, what was I doing in Nigeria? That was one of the best question that anybody has ever asked me in the UK. He said, what was I doing in Nigeria? I told him I was doing digital marketing, and I have over almost 13 years experience back then. He said, wow. He said, see that brother that is standing there is a digital marketer. He works for social company. See that sister that is standing there, she's a project manager. She works for social company. See that brother, see that sister that is standing there, she's a data analyst. You know what happened? Suddenly the scale started removing from my eyes. Why? Because I found out that they don't get too edge. So fortunately, me, I was looking for another job, but the second job I was looking for was no longer a warehouse job. Why? Because I discovered that people were actually living in the reality of what I dreamt for. So what did I do? I was under a mentoring of somebody who was helping me to fine-tune my CV. I was fine-tuning my CV again and again. So suddenly me that was not even getting interview, I was getting interview, even though I did not pass, but I was getting interview. But guys, imagine in all those particular scenario, and I will still have to prepare for interview. There are days whereby I go record the interview, put into Telegram, take earpiece, go to warehouse, put hoodie on am, they listen. Why? Because I knew if I was going to wait for when the time is perfect and when things are smooth, I will most likely be somewhere now, packing shift in one warehouse. So the point for me was I knew what I wanted and I was ready to squeeze in between my busy schedule the demands of what it took. I could have been giving excuses until one day, not luck, favor shined on me, and a particular company hired me as a digital marketing executive. But there are some things that happened in my CV before they hired me. My mentor told me, Jide, you cannot put 14 years experience. You want to fire your manager. We started restructuring my CV. Then I started seeing interview calls, like I mentioned, and I got a job. You know how many people applied for the job I got as a digital marketing executive? Over 1,400 people applied for it. But I got the job. Why? Because I was persistent and I knew what I wanted. After getting the job, after 4 months in that job, 4 to 5 months in the job, I was promoted from a digital marketing executive to become a digital marketing manager. I am sharing all this story. Why? Because if you can relate, this is probably the trajectory of every one of us. And if there is one thing we keep saying is we cannot get the job, maybe because there's no job, or we are saying because it's our color, that is why they are not giving us. And I'm saying, is that true? And that's why I want us to have this conversation so that we can ask ourselves, how can I create a pathway from where I am right now and move gradually towards something that will give me a much more efficient and better life? Even if na employment I won't do for now, how can I move from where I am to where I ought to be? And that is what this conversation will be all about all through today. And I'll not be doing it alone. I'll be doing it with one of my lovely, beautiful sister. You know, she's into this. This is her own focus. You know, say me right now, I don't resign from 9 to 5. So I know follow employment like before again. But I have to also pay attention to the reality of people who are listening to me. That the fact that we can also create that pathway until we get closer to what looks like why we came here. So none of us is going to settle for less. The excuses we are giving, we'll try and answer those questions today and also ask ourselves, what are the things I can do before the end of this year? If all I can do is move my salary from that bare minimum to something that is valuable, can we do it this year? Guys, join me as I will welcome my own awesome guest here today that will join me in this conversation. Many of you who have been on my live stream for a while, you would have met her, and would have been around some of our conversation. So today I have somebody awesome that will be joining me and we'll be engaging together. Let me increase the size of the screen. Hey, I don't forget how did they do all this setting now. Just 1 second, guys. Let me change the structure of the box so that I can bring her to a place whereby you go see her very well. Guys, how would they do this thing again? I don't forget. How do we do this thing? How do I adjust the screen? How can I? Omo, are you there with me, please?
I'm here. I'm just smiling. I'm maybe the wrong person to ask how you would do that thing because even me, it's not like I'm a regular on TikTok. So that makes the both of us.
You know the funniest thing, I've done it before, but you know what I'll do? Let me do this. Hope you will enjoy it.
Hey, I don't like to see my face on the big screen. It's not
Guys,
bad.
while I'm still trying to solve the screen size point, I have a beautiful sister. You can see her, she's beautiful. Jesus babe from top to toe. But she's not just fine, she gets sense. And she not just gets sense, she's helping people to navigate their path from whatever you are doing right now. How can you start moving from where you are and move yourself closer to the kind of career goal you are looking for. So we'll be having a lot of conversation and engagement today. Or more, I'm sure you were in the comment. I was trying to share my own little story
Oh yes, I was
about
there.
how we enter into this UK and how we've moved our path. Guys, I've just been in the UK for barely 3.5 years. So I've not only been able to transit from warehouse into working in a corporate space, I've been able to transit from a corporate space into running my own thing myself.
Clock it.
I'm saying, hey, I'm saying this why because it is doable. There's nothing special. I not get 3 heads. At least you can see it from the image. I don't have 2 heads, but it's obvious that there are some things that we are doing, or there are some things that can be done that can suddenly start making the story look like wow. It's not totally as I think it is. Or more, let me ask you some few questions if you don't mind. I want us to do engagements today. I'm sure you came into the UK on a platter of silver. Job was waiting for you. You don't have to struggle or sweat or anything like that, right? So share your grace to grace story for us because you no struggle like most of us.
Okay. You know, this in the UK right now, there are like different categories of like people that did jack. By the way, I'm Jackpa set. Yes, I think that's the name they call us. So
Yes, now.
we are
We that
in
our
that
mouth is loud.
we're in that level. We're in that level. And I wish that it was a grace to grace story, to be very honest. I wish that it was. Um it wasn't like that at all. When I came to the UK, of course, the reality will hit you quickly. Especially at the time that I came, right? Everybody was, of course, coming to do their masters, or those people that were opportune were coming on the health and care visa. It was a year after I came that health and care visa was really a thing. But of course, that's really, really the route that a lot of people come through. So for me, I quickly realized that I was not going to work in the field that I came to do my master's in. I think it was like the second day of class that I had that realization. To give you context, I did my master's in public health. And in Nigeria, before I came, I was already doing like some research and everything. And then I like, you can work with the council, you can do this, you can do that, everything looks good when you are researching it until you step in and then reality hits you. When I started on this first or second day of class, I realized that I was in class with some people that were doing level 7 apprenticeships. So if you know how like UK works, right? Level 7 is master. So I'm doing my masters, but there were some people in my class that were doing level 7 apprenticeship, which is master's apprenticeship. But the way apprenticeships work is they are already working, right? And then they are studying. Some of them, or almost all of them, were working with councils. So the council is then the one that sponsored them to do that apprenticeship. So basically, I'm going to be competing for jobs with people that have access to public funds, have already been funded by the council, right, to study, to upskill themselves. And then there's me that I'm just even trying to get used to the system and all. So I had that realization really, really, really early. And then I said, okay, this might happen eventually, but I need to figure out what my plan B, plan C, plan D is. And if you know anything about me, I like to think, I would think on my feet though, because I already knew that I have limited time. I do have limited time. A lot of people make not having that realization, or actually to call me, but we are here. Not having that
Good.
realization or not pushing themselves to, think out of the box really early. I mean, a lot of people have already made that mistake, but it does not mean that there's no remedy to it. So that's my grace to grace uni. That's phase one. I'm studying. That's really, really phase one. And as the Lord will have it, I see, I've already started saying as the Lord will have it. I say I'm not going to come here to preach today,
No,
but
no, no, no.
can I help
Continue,
it?
continue.
I can't
It's a
really help
flow.
it. Of course, these are the moments where you start to like ask the hard questions, like, "Oh, I'm now in my supposed land of milk and honey. what exactly do I need to do and all. And I was opportune, just like Jide, to actually join a community that made sense. Let me just put it like that. And a lot of people have not realized that the community you fix yourself in, that you see that first couple of months when you come to the UK, that's the community that will shape your mindset throughout this journey. It is what it is. And I say this because I have also spoken to people that fix themselves in communities that have told them that, guys, see, don't even bother to try and aim high. Me, I've been doing this for 15 years, 17 years. This is where I am. Why do you think that you can go above that? But that was not the case for me. In fact, initially, I actually joined I joined a church that was just starting. I realized that a lot of us there were on student visas. So at the time, I remember after service the first Sunday, I was like, God, the prayer points that we prayed, it was just on our struggle. Do I really, really want to do this? Like, do I want to be here? I don't go out a lot, right? So it's usually just always those that my church, networking events, this, that. Do I really want to be in a space where we're all praying the same prayer? Nobody's there to uplift anybody. All of us were in the same circle and all of that. And I said, maybe not, maybe not. And as the Lord will have it, I was able to join another community. In fact, the first day that I stepped my foot in this church, it just made sense. Every single person there were at different stages of there's different parts of the faces that I am looking up to be in different scales of time. Aha. We had people that were in places that I was expecting that I'll be in next 1 year. We had people that were in places where I was expecting to be in the next 3 years. We had all of those places, and it was just easy for me to say, okay, I can pick from here. I can pick from here. We also had people that came to the UK in harsher conditions than I did. We had some people in church that came to the UK when there was no post-study. It meant that 1 year or that couple of months that they were doing their study was the time that they also needed to find a job that they would settle. So I did not have an excuse. And that's why I said the communities that you join actually shape, or the people that you associate yourself with. This is also because some people, of course, do not attend churches, but you know people, you have friends, you have family, you have like different people. The people that you associate yourself with, that first instance when you are here, we cannot lie that they have shaped our mindset and they have shaped our journey and they have contributed to, how we do this whole journey thing. And that's what happened. Finally, I saw you moving me around. I saw you moving me around, but yeah. And so that was it. From there, I started to ask myself really, really hard questions. What do you want to do? What do you actually want to do? And that's something that I realized that a lot of people don't ask themselves. People are actually not telling themselves the truth. If you are telling yourself the truth, you will know that Musa's journey is not your journey. You will know that Joshua's journey is not your journey. Because Joshua decided to do something that worked out for them does not mean that you will do that same thing and it will work out for you. Every single phase of my life where I have to make a big decision, I would sit down and ask myself hard questions. To be very honest with you, we are all adults, and I feel like we've just gotten to that place where you actually have to ask yourself, what me that I am here like this, what do I actually want to do? The Bible says in, I think it's Proverbs 18:16. I have some scriptures that I will go through here on my screen. It says, a man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. Guess what? You will not be brought before great men if you don't utilize your gift. You have to utilize your gift first. And to be able to do that, you have to ask yourself questions like, what do I actually have? What do I have? And so I sat down. What do I like to do? And what does the UK look like for me? If
Omo, sorry, Omo, please, I want to break you in between, so that people don't miss our conversation. Care about how narcissistic. So from what it's sounding like, it's like you figured out everything. Immediately you started thinking everything was just
Now
settled.
so,
So for me, the question I was thinking is why you are doing all this, your research, or you were doing schooling. Did you have to work? That's why I said you were born with silver spoon. So maybe probably you have somebody funding your lifestyle, you were just flexing like a big girl, just trying to disturb herself with all this kind of work thing,
I
So
know,
I
I
don't know.
wish.
What can you give us an insight into what that season looked like also? So that people don't think you have everything just sorted out.
Ah, I think because of how I talk these days, it just sounds like I do. But now that I'm
You're in
looking
your
back
soft
at it,
soft girl
I
era.
can talk about it from like a place of knowledge, a place. Hi, my sis, I'm so sorry. I will drop you a message after this, unfailingly. If I don't, press my neck. Okay, I'm
Don't
not
worry.
allowed to say that here.
I will make her to drop the
I
message
will. I
by
actually
force.
forgot. I forgot.
Uh,
While all of that was happening, by the way, I of course joined an agency like everybody else. Like I joined a care agency, and I didn't stay long with them though, but I sure joined a care agency. I remember now where students were only allowed to do, oh no, that time students, because of COVID, students were actually
yes.
allowed to do more than 20 hours. But I had not figured it out. I had not figured it out. And just to give you a little bit of background, I had never done care before. I had never done care. And I actually have lived how I sound. Yes, I've lived how I sound. It might not be silver spoon in the sense, but it is the works of my hand. Like I have worked, basically. I've done things. So I worked in a startup in Nigeria. So coming here, it just felt like I was going to just ease into it. So when I got that agency, I said I was not going to work more than a certain period so that I can, get that my corporate job that I was doing and just continue from where I stopped. It did not work like that. It did not work out like that.
So you were working in the agency or in care for
In
a
a care home,
particular how many months?
I was
Like how
there.
many
I
months?
was there for, I think I was there for 5 months, but not regular. Like the total time I spent there was 5 months, but I'm not one of the staff members that you say that they see every day or that they see every time. But I was there for 5 months. While I was there, I then started to speak to people. I spoke to some of the nurses there, like, oh, so like this from this care work, like what's the next thing that somebody can do? And also because I was doing my master's in public health, I just said, you know what, I can fix myself somewhere in the healthcare space. I can do something. And then the nurses will say, except you want to do nursing, except you want to do nursing. Except you want to do nursing. I was like, but I don't want to do nursing. So you're telling me that after healthcare assistant, senior healthcare, senior HCA, there's nothing there. There's no, like, I don't know. Like, I wanted to put grades to it, like,
Progression. Yeah.
progression. And I was like, at the time, the funny thing was, at that time, even though I was in that position and I was working in that HCA job, when I went back to class and I told some of my classmates that I found an agency job, they were just, they were hailing me. That, like, how did you do it? How did you do it? How did you do it? I was like, I don't want to sound ungrateful. I don't want to like feel ungrateful. Of course, I knew that a lot of us were struggling. We are trying to, some people still had like school fees that they needed to complete, all of those things. But I just knew that it's not here. Oh. It's not here like this. And then I did that. And also because of the way that I present myself, a lot of people see me and the first thing that they say is you should not be here.
Mm,
And then I was
mm,
like, is this like stamping the fact that maybe there's more for me out there. But everybody that I spoke to at the time, like in those kind of environment, the work environments, even in my class, they're like, oh man, better be happy. be grateful. We are still this, we are still that. And it's not to say that I was not grateful. It's just that I knew that I had capacity to do more. I knew that I had capacity. Not I had, it's still a have thing. Even as I am like this, I still have capacity to do more. Because it is, talent is awarded to everybody based on capacity. And I know that I'm still not maximizing that capacity. And I know that God will ask me, what did you do with the one that I gave you? And so it continued. Of course, I can't say that it was an easy journey. It was not an easy journey. But one of the things that also helped me, that I know that somebody will pick out of this conversation today, is research. I did a lot of research. I spent a lot of my free time reading and studying people's journey. If I meet...
You did not pick extra shift, second job?
At that time, I did not pick. I was doing that. I was working in that care home. It was okay. It was okay. It was okay for them to keep up the lifestyle.
You have to cut out time,
but I had to be intentional,
working towards the kind of life you wanted for yourself while you were still doing this.
Yes, and while I was still schooling. By the way, for those that know me, I research a lot. I know things not because they come to me. It is because I go and intentionally look for information. Because one of the things that I learned early in life is that, you see, they say knowledge is power. It's not just a statement. There is a way that you will speak to people. They will know that you are knowledgeable, and that makes you the most powerful person in that room. That makes you a person of authority in that place because you have power. And it is because you have knowledge that you have power. I intentionally made out time. And this is something that I do every time now. When people ask me, why don't you also do this and you also do that? I will tell them back, where would I have time to study? Where would I have time to study? Because studying has taken me places that, running after trends and running after things will never take me. So I started to study.
You're making it sound like knowledge is a leveler. It changed the playing field suddenly. So you're telling me indirectly that what I know can actually elevate me from where I am right now to another level.
100%.
If I position myself and go for the kind of knowledge that can make the
100%.
100%. I don't want people to miss out. You know what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to remove the aspire to perspire from this conversation a little bit. So what I'm trying to do is I want us to talk. People, they say people's success are in their stories. You're right. So I'm looking at how did you take that practical step? I remember you once said you were working in the care as a HCA.
That's the part that I'm getting to now.
Okay, so
that's the part that the knowledge is taking me to. When I did that research while I was still working in the care home, I realized that the NHS was doing something at that time called recruitment events. I only found out about this by doing research. In fact, my Google thing then was, I currently work as a healthcare assistant. What can I do? Where can I work to actually, make something for myself? And then that was where I remember one of those searches. There's a statement that I saw that I would almost never forget. The NHS is there's a way that I can't remember it verbatim right now, but the NHS is the largest employer of healthcare careers and healthcare related. It's not like I did not know the NHS at the time, but I just did not know that inside that there, as a healthcare assistant, there is room for upwards, sideways, those kind of movements. And that's where knowledge took me. I was like, recruitment event. Okay. That very day, I remember very well, it was on a Wednesday. That very day, I registered for a recruitment event. At this time, I was already 5 months, exactly 4 months in the UK. So following this story, you can tell that there was a balance, but there was still prioritizing the needful, like prioritize well, because I knew that after the uni there was life, there's life, and I need to do something. So I was prioritizing all of these things, and it was hard. I'm saying it now, maybe it's looking like it was easy, but if you've ever been in this space, this journey, if you are listening to this, you will know that it is hard. It is really hard. So Wednesday, I found out about recruitment events. That was even the day I found out about the NHS website. Oh, one, there's track, there is health jobs, there is jobs.nhs.uk. So I did that. I was like, how will I now find the recruitment event? But then I'm like, just search it by the keyword. I did. And I saw a lot of recruitment events across different, like, NHS trusts in different locations in the UK. I couldn't find any that was like in my locality, but I saw one that wasn't too far away from me. I used to live in East London, but this one was all the way in Uppington, which is like Kent. It's like almost 2 hours, 2 hours and some minutes by train, or by, depending on how you want to do the journey, but almost 2 hours. I said, okay, and the recruitment event was on a Saturday. And then I was like, okay, I read everything about the recruitment event. They just said, come. They didn't, there was nothing to apply. There was like no button, no anything. I was like, we should just come like that. I read the job very well. Okay, and now I have care experience. They said they will interview us on the spot that day and everything. Then I did that. I was just asking myself, oh, what do I need to do? NHS. And I told my friends and I told my family that I registered for one recruitment event too at one NHS trust like that. How did you hear about it? I just went online. I did research. I was searching all my search engine, everything. It just kept on bringing recruitment events, and then I applied and I got it. That was on Wednesday. I didn't have class till Friday. By Friday, I got to class and I told my classmates, you people that are saying, Madam Keum, there's recruitment event too. I saw one and it is even tomorrow. Let me look for the link. By the time I saw the link, it had actually closed, but there were other ones in like other cities. And I shared with like some of my classmates at the time. When I got home that day, being the Nigerian in me and the, ambitious go-getter, I want to be prepared. I went to the post office, printed out my CV. Oh, I'm going for an interview, prepared. The reason why I'm emphasizing on this part is that preparation plays a key part in your journey. And preparation actually played a huge part in my journey. They did not say anywhere in that application, print your CV and bring it. They did not say, come with a pen, come with a paper. But if you are very intentional about your journey, you'll be able to like read between the lines. You will know that you cannot show up haphazardly. Like you cannot just show up like somebody that is not looking for a result outside of that thing. It's very important. It is very important, and you will know why as we go along. I did all that, took my bag, Saturday morning, 7 a.m. The event started at 9, but my journey was, of course, almost 2 hours. 7 a.m. I was out of the house. I got there to 9. The queue was massive. I said, yeah, how many of us do they want to employ? How many people? I sat down there. They took us to a room. They did everything, introduced, and then they said, how many of you are here with a physical copy of your CV? Wow! And then they said, if you are here with a physical copy of your CV, come this way. Then they led us to a hall. I can never forget that day. The hall had table and chair. Like, I don't want to over-exaggerate. Like maybe 20 to 30 different people. So it was a mass recruitment for the entire trust. So they brought in all their senior nurses, ward managers. They were already sat on one side of the table. When we got to the room, they gave us like a form to fill. That form had like different specialties. It had accident and emergency department, endoscopy, surgery, this one, that one. Me that I did not know any of them. I'm coming from care home now. I say, emergency department, at least, whatever the case may be. Whatever the case may be. emergency department. And so they filled it. They did that. They asked us to fill it, and then they're like, "Oh, ED, so emergency ED, go this way, surgery this way, this way, this way." And then I went. I sat in front of this amazing lady, and then she was like, "Hi, how are you?" Da, 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 da. She spoke to me, eased me in. She was like, "Oh, it's just a conversation." She asked questions. It was not even up to 20 minutes. And then she was writing as I was talking, normal interview, but it was like 20 minutes and everything. And I was just saying, God, please take control, because they did not say they will prepare, they will interview, or they did not even say, they just said we should come for recruitment events, but take control. Just, take control. And I was just answering. They were like, "Oh, what information? How do you keep information confidential? How do you do this? What does values?" They say, "What is our values?" See, preparation. I remember on the train that morning was when I was reading this organization. Let me just read about them. I know that they did not say they will interview us, so it's just a recruitment event, but let me read about them. And so I was reading, okay, their values: respect, collaboration. I use mnemonics. I use mnemonics a lot, so I just kept it like that. I can't remember what this was, but I just kept a word. So as soon as she said it, I mentioned it. And she was like, "How do you use that in day-to-day work?" And then I said, "Oh, I currently work in a care home. I do this, I do that. That's how I show respect. I collaborate with my staff members, all of that shebang." And that was the answer. She was like, "Oh, thank you." I said, "Thank you too." And then we were done. They were like, "Once you're done, leave." As we're leaving by the door, someone gave us a form to fill: your name, your email address, and your phone number. And that was it. They were like, "Goodbye, we are done. Goodbye, we are done." I carried my bag. I went home. We're done. We're done. That was it. Then Monday morning at about past 10, I got an email. "Congratulations, you've been offered the role of Band 2 healthcare assistant at Princess Royal University Hospital, King's College NHS Trust." That was the journey. That's how.
You wait, Omo. I am somebody that likes helping people to pick out points so that they can also see how they can start applying it to their life. One of the things that you heard if you really listen, is intentionality. It wasn't a fluke. It wasn't just an NSPPD prayer section. In addition to being spirituality, she had intentionality. Guys, can you see me? Yes. I don't know
You're
what happened to
breaking a
my
little
phone.
bit, but now you're frozen a bit.
Yeah, I should be back now, right?
Yes.
Yes, I am back now. First thing that, guys, we are not tapping. That's why this thing is so frozen. Let's tap. Please, gift or more. Gift or more, please. Gift or more is very important. She doesn't need it. She's a big girl, but please give her. All these things
Yeah,
helps to
she's a
create
big girl.
engagement on. You understand? It creates engagement for TikTok so that we don't have all these frozen things. So let's keep liking, sharing, and tapping. So one thing she said was intentionality. If you could hear her statements, she could have given 189 ways reason why things will not work. But you saw that she was quite intentional about what she wanted, even though she didn't know where to get it. And there is something I've heard about intentionality. Intentionality is like an eye opener. It's like somebody who wanted to buy a car, and the car you want to buy is under Accord, red in color. Do you know that the moment you made up your mind that you want to buy under Accord red in color, suddenly you start seeing many, 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 many under Accord around you? Why? Because you are narrowing your intention to the fact that this is what I want. The reason why many of us don't see it, even though we pass by it many a times, is because we are not that intentional. That's number one. Thank you so much for gifting that. Thank you. All right. The
Thank you.
second thing we I see from Omo is the fact that in addition to her intentionality, she did research. You reminded me of myself also when I wanted to have my interview. Do you know what I did? And this is another mistake many people don't do. You don't research. You could not have done it because of the kind of role you can do, how you could do. Many people don't even go and check and do a critical search on the person who wants to recruit them, who wants to do the interview for them. I researched about my manager. I didn't just check the website. I researched about my manager. I tried to look for what is something that is very central to her in her social life. If she likes dog or she likes cat, why? Because you must understand that people don't just employ you because you are
100.
qualified. They are looking for somebody who is a fit. A fit there, it has a lot to do with culture. And culture there, you can't separate the person from the work she's
True.
doing. You know what I did during my interview? It is one of the videos that my manager created. The example she used was the same example I used in my interview. So one way, somehow, somewhere, I could resonate a lot with her in the midst of 1,400 people that applied. So you see that if you don't connect with these people, if you don't find because you must understand that this is the person that has the power to move you to your next level.
Yeah.
So the moment you position her not as a god, but you try to put the focus on her, not the job, not trying to get the money or trying to get the job at all costs, what will distinguish you from every other person who is coming to apply? Every other person will most likely come with a CV.
100.
Every other person will most likely go and check the job specification and know what is concerned. But few people will sit down to go and, in fact, in NHS, I know they would also sometimes give you the number of the people that would most likely
Yes.
interview you.
Oh,
Many of you, how
we'll
many
get
of
to
you
that.
do a call? No, thank you, my sister. I know say 7 o'clock you go soon say you want to run away. So many of us don't go the extra mile beyond just having a CV that is qualifying you. How do you go the extra mile to create a difference between many other people that are applying for that position? So it's important for us as we listen to what she is saying. Thank you so much. Let's continue then. Thank you.
Okay. Me, I like when you do these wrap ups because it actually gives me a reminder of some of the things, not just things that I must have missed, but some of the things that I've actually overlooked. Sometimes you have to tell your story to be able to tell yourself, oh, you've walked the walk, oh, you've actually, walked this walk. I started this job, and when I started, everybody was like ecstatic. Ah, you have made it in life. Literally, you have made it in life. And as the Lord will have it, when I started as well, I met a lot of Nigerians there. I met people that, you know how we Nigerians, we have this thing when a new Nigerian starts to work where you work, you feel the need to tell them how many years you have been there, just so that they know that they are not in the same level as you. And this happens a lot. A lot of people say it from a place of I have been here long ago. Some people will say from a place of learn from me. Some people will say from a place of we're not mates. It depends on, different, however it is. But I think they got to know really early on that I'm not in the same school of thought with them. When I started, of course, and just to say, put this out there, and putting this out there is not from a place of pride or anything. I've been the youngest in any room that I've worked in. Like any place I've worked in since I started working, I've just always been the youngest in the room.
Let's give you your flower.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me my flowers. So when I got there, it was first of all the people I met were older than me. That's number one. Number two, and I'm listing all of these things specifically because people think that, they go to work for going to work sake. They go to work for, like, you're going to work to work. I say this all the time. I say this to my friends, my mentees, anybody. You see that thing that they call work-life balance? The white people are not dumb. They know why they coined the statement together. Because you cannot take work out of life. You can't. It's not possible. That's why they tell you that, okay, since you cannot take it out, you cannot take work out of life, balance it. Balance it. And it's not just the secular people, that believe that. Even in the Bible says it. It says whatever you do, anything that you find yourself doing, do it as if you are working for God or working to God, not just serving the masters, masters of men, is biblical as well. So there is a spiritual concept to it. Anything you find yourself doing in terms of work, you're not just going there to wake up in the morning and sow a seed. It is a fundamental part of life. People in the secular understand it. Spiritual people understand the dynamics to it as well. And that is why you cannot wake up every morning and say, I beg, I just they carry myself, they go. You will realize that when you have that mindset towards your career will have that result back towards you. It is what it is. It is what it is. And so I'm very proud of anything that I find myself doing at any time, whether it is small, whether it is big, whether it is, you will find me talking about anything that I'm doing. The day I'm doing care, I'm talking about it with so much passion. The day that I'm not doing care, whatever it is I find myself doing, I'm talking about it because that is where I am in life right now. Tomorrow, you might meet me talking about something else. But anywhere I find myself, I know that it is but a channel to my next level. So when I got there, and as a respectful person, even when some people started doing, I've been here longer than you, I was just auntie, uncle. And let me tell you something. Another thing again, I have weaknesses, but one thing that you will not help me to make a weakness is the thing that I think is my strength. People often will say, "Oh, you are just this age. You are just this age," but it is my advantage. It is my own advantage. So it is the advantage for me. So every time I go there, auntie, uncle, I say, my daughter, you are my daughter. We are the same age. You are my, you are my. So I quickly, form those kind of professional relationships because I know that I'm here to grow, and grow I shall. So by the time I started to, have those kind of conversations and everything, I started to pick on certain things. Sometimes I would ask some of these aunties, auntie, do you actually like this job? Just not because I want to discourage them, to understand their school of thought so that I know, okay, why this, why that. And then I got to uncover so many deep things. And I think that's the part where I started to form this ideology of the people you associate yourself with when you come to this country, they form your journey in the country. Yeah. Because a lot of these people that I'm telling you about, they were not on student visa, they were British, and they had been British for years. And that's why if you are close to me, one of the things, and I see that you are not using your capacity well, one of the things I will tell you is that there is life after ILR. And I'm speaking to people that are on different visa phases here. There is life after it. And the minute that you realize it early, your journey will become easier. If you don't realize it early, ILR will come and go and you'll still be in that same place.
Or more, there's even life before ILR.
So I continued, to do all of those things and started asking them questions. So when I got to know some of them a little bit, I started to say, okay, it's good. I know some of these things now. But now, where do I go from here? Where do I actually go from here? What do I want to do? What do I want to do with my time? I'm here now. Everybody's like, you've done well for yourself. Hey, it's so hard to enter NHS. So you've done well for yourself. You've done this. I'm really grateful to God. I'm really grateful to, God and my journey for everything. God of my journey. But what do I do from here? Then I moved on to the next phase, studying the system. And this is the part that changed everything for me. Studying the system.
Have we discussed before? Have we discussed all these things that you are saying?
Not to this length, not to this level. Anywhere that you find yourself, there's something in it for you. You have to just figure it out. Figure it out. There is something inside of that place for you. The truth is that you did not land there by mistake. If you applied for the job, they called you to interview. You did not land there by mistake. There is something, if you're intentional about progression, moving upwards, there is something for you inside of that place. It might be small steps. It might be things that are not tangible, but there's something for you inside of it. So I worked there. That's probably the place that I have worked the longest throughout my time in this country. I spent a lot of time there. I worked there, I think, for about 1 year and 7 months. And I was just studying this NHS. Has in like that. Oh, I'm band 2 now. Because there's no band 1, I'm in the lowest band. Right? There's band 9, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Band 8A, band 8B, band 8C, band 8D. Then there's band 9. Then there's VSM, very senior, whatever. Very. Sorry. I just had to pick that up. Sorry.
Guys, TikTok just sent me a notification that in 5 minutes the live stream will be ending because there's no engagement. So guys, when you join a live stream that is blessing you or is helping you or giving you light, I know for me, I know you are learning. But as far as TikTok is concerned, it doesn't see it like that. Why? Because they are asking, why would I give 127 people a stream? Why there's no engagement? At least me, I don't ask you to gift coin. I don't do all those things. But even if it's the person speaking, gift us something, please. I will recommend engage, share, like. Please drop your daily at me. You know why she's coming back? I know it's a call that came in. One of the things I want you to discover from what she's saying is, in the midst of everything, okay, you are
Yeah,
back.
sorry.
Okay, let me allow you to continue before I do my own small thing. Yes,
okay. So I mapped it out. Oh, but for the purpose of this live session, there was a journal that I wanted to bring, but I realized that it is really deep in my store.
in the archive.
It is really deep in my store, but it looks something like this. So I have this is my 6th binder in this country. So it looks exactly like this. It's the 6th one, and everything that I document in journals like this is my job journey. I could only find this one. It's not like I'm going to show you what is inside, but I want to show you what it's like really looks like. In fact, I go ahead to even keep certifications that I've acquired. So this one, I got it from doing a course with the NHS, but I'll get to all of that. But I have accumulated 6 of this kind of binders, and I'll tell you the things that I use them for, or the things that are inside of it. It's studying. Inside that particular one, the first one that I ever kept, my pink binder, I bought it at Poundland. I said, okay, this is where I'll be writing my career, everything about my career journey, what I want to do, where I want to be, everything. And hopefully I'm writing all of these things inside the will of God, and not going outside of it. But even the Bible says, write the vision and make it plain. So this is what I want to do. And if it is not the will of God, it would also redirect me on the ones to cancel and the ones to move forward with. I started doing research. Started writing those things down. Okay, band 2 to band 9. Okay, what do I need to do to go from here to band 3? What do I need to do from that band 3 to band 4 or band 5, if that's what I want to do? And of course, at this time, my student visa was already coming to an end. So now, what do I actually need to do? I spoke to them about sponsorship, like what most of us do. And the conversation did not quite go well. Oh, you need to apply for band 3 before, even though some trusts were sponsoring band 2. I didn't know why they did not, but I took it that it's the will of God. And at that time as well, I started to learn that, okay, this thing is happening. Like this trust now, they are changing their EPR system. For those of you that don't know, EPRs are electronic patient record systems. So that was in 2022. They were changing to Epic. And they said, oh, everybody is going to be using that system. So we're moving from documenting patient record in this way to that way. I say, hey, we're moving to something. What can I do in my capacity? I know that I'm the bottom of the barrel if they are putting people in hierarchy, but what can I actually do? So doing my normal shift, everything, they did the training for everybody. You know how they say, go for your Epic training, register for training. I got to the training and they were talking, oh, you do this, you use the system, you use that. And I'm very quick to learn like all of these systems thing. At that time, I had not decided that I wanted to do tech. Let me just put it out there that I had not made this decision. I was just still doing my healthcare. In fact, at that time, I saw a connection between working as a HCA and working in public health, because there was someone that used to come to my ward then. She was an oral hygiene practitioner and she did public health. So I was already like, there's if you do oral hygiene and you study public health, you can do oral hygiene. There was also somebody else that used to come to the ward. She was a smoking advice, stop smoking cessation advisor.
And they pay her for that.
Of course, they are usually like band six or band seven. I said, smoking cessation. I remember now when I was doing my public health, we had, all those health promotion campaigns, and they would say, oh, the smoking advisor. So I started writing all of those things down. Okay, if it is public health I want to do, I can do this, I can do that. But a lot of the public health jobs needed experience. So what can I do? I found volunteering. Whew. If you ever want to do anything in the UK, this UK that we are in, volunteering is the easiest way to break into anything. Because your volunteering experience is equal to paid experience. You spent the time there. It is yours. You did it. And if you work well, they will reference you for that experience. I said, where do I get volunteering? A lot of things like pain me these days. I create content. Sometimes I'm tired of creating content because you are creating content around the things that you know. Meanwhile, there's somebody else dragging you. You people talk too much. You people talk too much. It's painful. So I don't even count myself as a content creator. But there are certain
Let me
things.
help you. Let me help you. You are not a content creator. You are a value creator.
Okay.
So don't drag the content space with them. Just create value.
Exactly.
And people who associate with you will keep coming for you.
There are just some things that I know that I'm like, somebody else has to know about this thing. It cannot stay like with me like that. Somebody else would like find this thing helpful. At the time that all of these things was happening, there was people really just started talking about all these career moves from like 2023, if I remember very well. At that time, not a lot of people were really talking then online. So a lot of these things, some of us had to find it out by ourselves. We did not stumble on a TikTok video. We did not stumble on an Instagram video that was explaining all of these things.
So sorry, madam. Let me help you a little bit so that you don't forget where we stopped. So you went for the conference. What started happening from the conference or the training you said you went? How did you start? What did that add to you?
When I got to the training, I realized that because clinicians are not technical people, they still struggled even after the training. That's it.
Who's a clinician?
So clinicians are nurses, healthcare assistants, medical doctors, like the name implies. So even though I was an unregistered clinician, ideally, a lot of healthcare assistants still struggled because the trainings are like 1 hour long. And to even make it worse, a lot of us were going for these trainings to escape the ward. Some people will go to the training, they'll go and sleep. Inside that training, some people were dozing, sleeping, because you know how the ward can be. But I told myself that I'm not going to sleep. There's a problem here. The problem is that people will not know how to use this system in this 1 hour training. It's not possible. It's not possible. And at the end of the training, after I had written everything that the tutor was saying, the guy now said, there's no expectation that you know all of these things today. So what we have done is we have created a group of EPR champions. And an EPR champion will be placed in every shift. So they could be nurses, HCA, they could be any grade, any level, but just that they know they took this training that we gave and they know it. Say, EPR champions. Okay, everybody went. I said, sorry, sir. Hello. Excuse me. How do I become an EPR champion? How do I become an EPR champion? He was like, oh, I'm just going to put your name down, then I'll speak to your ward manager. The idea is that there's somebody in every shift that can use the system. So you're just showing the nurses, you're showing them, okay, this is what to do, this is where to.
And you are an healthcare assistant on band 2.
And so I said, it's okay. So that one started, but that was already a couple of months before I left that organization. But I was able to do that. I was able to, in fact, you know how we can be in the hospital. Some people say, I don't know how to use the system. Well, just help me put everything, just help me do this, do that. So, of course, I was expanding my capacity that way. Now, to go back to the volunteering, because there's something I want to pick out of that and something I also want to say. I struggled to find volunteering roles at that time because I did not know where to look. I looked online and everything, but I didn't know where to look. But then I realized that every time I go to my city center, I used to see an office. They'll just say job center. I say, this is, as the English implies, it's a center for jobs. So one day I walked into the job center. I said, I'm looking for volunteering opportunities. I know you are for like jobs and everything, but I'm looking for volunteering opportunities in this. And then the guy and the lady that I met there, they were like, oh, what do you say? I said public health. Public health. Like, oh, every council has like a public health department. So we don't really cover that. But so I used to live in Stratford and they're under Newham Council. So this is the Newham Council's website. Go there, they have like a volunteering portal, click on it and then send an email. And if they have anything, they will let you know. I said, thank you. But they were like, oh, they have other jobs. Oh, you are looking for domiciliary care. You are looking, and I say, oh, no, this is the one I came for. So this is just to also let somebody know out there. See that job center. I know a lot of you, some of us were scared. Public fund, go there first and ask questions. Literally, ask questions. Ask
When you
questions.
paid, when you
No,
paid, so why should you be afraid of public funds when you are not paid?
no. So I went to the Newham Council's website that day. I put an application because I was ready to leave that job. I knew that I'm looking for the next thing for me. I applied and they go back to me the next day to say, oh yeah, unfortunately at this time they were not looking for volunteers for this because I mentioned all the things that I could do. Remember those names of that I have accumulated: smoking advisor, kinika, tobacco dependency advisor, oral hygiene. I wrote everything. They're like, no, but they are looking for a volunteer obesity and lifestyle something. Am I interested in doing that? I was like, oh yes, I'm just, it still falls under, it's still, everything is still part of it. So they then sent me like details of the email of the manager of the team, blah, blah, blah. While that was going on, I said, if this council can answer me, let me check other councils. Maybe I'll see something, because that time on the NHS website, I'll see more smoking advisor jobs than this obesity 111. And I was like, if I can get something in smoking, maybe I'll just, switch to like public health. So I looked for all the councils in East London. So I sent email to London Borough of Havering, London Borough of Barking and Dagenham, Mile End, is it Mile End? What's their name? I shall sent. I went do Google search councils in East London. I got all their name. I sent email, and the next day after that, London Borough of Barking and Dagenham replied to me, and Lord, they sent me list of all the volunteering opportunities that they had. Oral hygienist, the smoking advisor I was looking for was there. I said, Eureka. I found it. And I applied. They called me for like a conversation. Oh, tell me. And then when I told them, oh, I have a master's. I had done my exam and everything there, my dissertation. I told them I have a master's in public health. Oh, and so I started the next week.
Just wait. You've already piled down many things, so you are adding more to my work. Let me start breaking it gradually.
I also
Guys, you
piled
know why?
down many things that I was doing at that time.
I
So
know,
that
yeah, I know. I didn't just want to push it far. For me, guys, my work here is to help you hear the unsaid in the said. If there is something that you can see again, it's called intentionality. It's called intentionality. She wasn't waiting for somebody to bring it to her and say, this is it, go and apply. That's number one. Guys, one of the major thing I want to say now is if you are going to work and all you are getting from salary, you are shortchanging yourself. You are going to work and all you are thinking of is let me do my work, get my salary and go. You are shortchanging. And this is what I mean. Guys, in every organization, there is a problem. And the person who becomes the go-to person over time is the one who can provide solution to the problem. Especially the problem whereby many people are running away from. Guys, I've seen people who were data analysts or who were this network programmer back in Nigeria, and they came in as a carer. But they were not just doing care alone. They were noticing that they had issue with their data. They were noticing that things were missing again and again. That kind of a person walked up to their manager and said, do you know we can do this way, do this way, do this way? Guys, all the person needed to do was to tell them what I can do and bring a sample. Remember, she was employed or he was employed to just be a carer. But he was able to identify problem within the system where he or she was. And because of that, do you think they will keep that kind of person on shift or field when you can use that same person for a higher value? Can you see why it's important when you go to work, you have to look beyond what you are given to do.
100%.
Your eyes will be researching and asking yourself, what are the problem I can solve here? I remember when I came in, I told you guys that within 4 or 5 months, I was promoted from a digital marketing executive to a manager. It wasn't because they like my face. But it was because the company had a major problem that would cost them between 50 to 80,000 pounds. And I told them that if I only get this particular tool, I'll be able to generate what the agencies are saying is not possible. You know, when my guy was willing to say, how much is it? I said just 190 pounds per year. She bought the tool for me. I did a sample from her. She suddenly got angry that why is this agency wasting my time? Do you know that they took the job from the agency, brought it to me? This was not why they employed me. They brought me to it and said, please try solving it. The later I told them, we don't need this agency. I can get another agency for you. Within 3 months, my Oga was listening to me. I'm talking to my director. She was hearing me and saying, yes, it's true. Can you get another one? I got another agency that was willing to reduce the cost of what this other agency was charging us for another thing by almost 20,000 pounds. The moment I told them I wanted to go, that I'm looking for another better job or another better opportunity, you know what she said? She said, what can we do to keep you? It's not everybody they say this kind of statements to. Suddenly she went to the CEO and asked me, that she first asked me how much would I want before they can keep me. I mentioned one small amount. You know, this is my first UK job now. I mentioned one small amount. Do you know she went to the CEO of the company? I'm talking about one of the major logistics firms in the UK. We have a staff strength of about 1,400. She went to the CEO, just came back. She said, Jide, number one, we are keeping you. Number two, we are increasing your salary by 15,000 pounds. Number three, we are promoting you to a manager from an executive within 4 months. If all I was doing is carrying selfie and say, join me as I go to work today.
No, don't shade also.
No. You understand? I'm saying that of Guna. And I'm not sitting down to understand that my first few months or what I do there can either make me the go-to person. Because I entered as an HCA does not mean that is all that my mind and my eyes should see. The moment that you are inside, what you should be looking for is what are the problem I can solve. Within your problem is your value space that can move you. Suddenly start separating you from every other person. And that is very important. She said that I noticed that. So if all I'm going to work to do, and I'm saying it's just care I'm giving to, and you have managerial experience, you were a project manager in Nigeria with over 10 years experience, I'm telling you, can you start seeing loopholes within your system? Can you see they can move you away from the field and make you not just a coordinator, very close to a manager? Just because you were able to solve a problem. Every business is looking for somebody who is creating more value. Right. So they don't have any reason to keep you or increase your salary without the value you are bringing in. That's one thing. The other thing which I saw here is, she was not ready to settle down and say, finally, I'm in NHS. I am doing fine. within that NHS, she's already looking for what is the next level. Guys, your hunger matters a
That's
lot.
it.
Not because she was not confronted with challenges, not because some of the auntie Agba there would not talk to you anyhow and make you feel like you no get brain. Not because of all those things, but you notice that she went for a conference. In that conference, some people went there to sleep. Why words that will transform your life were going on? See how I'm showing you the connection. Within there, she met somebody that told her something. Many of you will not even go to conference and be thinking of networking. She went there and was saying, excuse me, sir, what do I need to become this? Can you see how that same thing now linked back to the same volunteering role? And she now knew what she was looking for. Guys, we don't need to start with everything we need. But the question is, what are you doing for your next level? What is that thing you are doing? Are you paying attention to the demands and the needs? Guys, life responds to value, not your color. Suddenly you find out that your color does not make sense. Guys, I was practically like one of the only manager in my space. I was next to my director. My director was already telling me before I left that, Jide, if you stay, do you know you have the potential of becoming the next director? I was a guy from Nigeria with barely any UK experience. So, guys, I needed to put that down so that beyond the story way sweet, you can start asking yourself, Lola, Ada, what are the things I can start paying attention to? Thank you so much, my dear. You can go ahead.
Lola, Ada. Anyways, after volunteering or while volunteering, of course, you start to apply for jobs now. Because I just knew, Sha, that at that time, the time in that place was already expiring. So I started again. I was like, I really like this NHS place. So maybe not this role, but I actually really, really like the NHS because I've spoken to people here that, they said, oh, I started as this and then I moved to this. I started as that. If they have that opportunity, then there is opportunity for me as well. But then again, I don't have the luxury of just saying, oh, I'm just going to try one thing. I'm on a time crunch. Everything is going on at the same time. So me too, I have to, fight and, push at the same time. So I did those what's it called, volunteering opportunities. Well, I then just realized that maybe not public health, actually maybe not something in public health. I just don't feel like I'll be using my brain to the max. Let me just put it there. I just did not feel like that. So I started applying for jobs while doing those internships. I applied a lot, and then my friend told me as well, the way that you're good with systems and things. Have you thought about tech as well? I said, I've thought about it too, but I kind of used to work like in the product space back in Nigeria, but maybe not core. It was more around the selling of the product. So I worked in like the sales function. But you know what? I think that I'm very analytical. Like, let me do data. So I looked for a boot camp online. I did data analysis. So I want to say something here. And that thing that I want to say is this. Whatever is worth doing at all is worth doing well. Like, it's worth doing really well. I can be doing so many things at the same time, but I can be doing them well. I can be doing them well. And that's you remember at the beginning where I talked about knowing yourself and knowing your capacity. I can do a lot. In fact, this used to be my weakness. People will call me over sabi. You know those kind of people. It used to be a weakness until I grew up and then realized that come off it. Not everybody can do this thing. So it is a strength, like an actual strength that you can do so many things and excel in them. I'm saying this to tell you that I was doing this boot camp. I was applying for job. I was volunteering and I was doing my 9 to 5 or 12 to 12, 12-hour shifts. And I was doing them well. There was never a time that I went to work that they would complain that you are sleeping, you are doing one thing, you are doing another thing. Because I also have lived my life by the principle that anywhere you find yourself, you must excel. Let it be that when you live there, they have good things to say about you. So I did the boot camp. 3 weeks into the boot camp, I was like, because I'm really good at Excel. I actually did not just realize at the time that, if you want to be a data analyst in the UK, just be good at Excel first, then SQL and the rest can be coming later. So 3 weeks in, I was like, oh, I'm really good at Excel. I might as well start applying for jobs. But let me start applying for like entry-level roles. So you see how this is where my job search has split now. I'm applying for roles in the NHS that were healthcare related. Then I was applying for data roles. So I found that's where I started to also do more research. See, I'm saying research. Like, it's just very important. It is very important. That's why I'm like, wait, so inside this same NHS too, you can work as a data analyst in the NHS. They have like functions outside of the nursing core. They had admin, they had allied health professionals, they had scientists and all of that. Okay, I can still be applying for healthcare related roles, still be applying for data related roles. And if I see any of those oral hygiene, smoking advisor, I can still be applying for them as well. And I did that. I was doing that, applied, and then I started getting interviews. Um, Now I was no longer applying for like HCA, core HCA. I was like, let me do support. You can support. You're free from like some things. So support, data, and all of that. While there was one day that I was like, I'm just applying. I'm getting interviews, but I'm not passing them. What's going on? Just asking myself the hard questions again, which is where some people don't really, really get to. You don't have that moment to reflect. In every journey, no matter how fast-paced or slow-paced it is, always carve out time for yourself to reflect. If you've not gotten anything so far from my story, one thing that I want you to get is that I don't live life anyhow. I don't. It's obvious in the way that I talk. I don't do life anyhow because I don't believe that I'm here to do life anyhow. That's just take that. Even if all of the rest does not resonate with you, you are here for a reason. So don't leave it anyhow. So I would take those moments to reflect and like, okay, I'm not getting interviews. What am I doing wrong? With the experience that I have, and a lot of you are in this position right now, you have experience already, but you're applying, nothing is coming forth. I was like, you know what? Let me tailor this. If I'm applying and they're interviewing me, during the interview, I also realized that they're just asking me to expand more on the things that I have that I've written in my application. So I should just stay on expanding more instead of preparing all afresh without a direction. I started doing that, and then I told myself again, wait, when you got this first job, it was from a recruitment event. Have you also tried recruitment event for maybe like band 3 now, band 4? I went back again. I searched recruitment events, and then I saw one recruitment event with London Ambulance. I was like, London Ambulance, and it's band 3. And they say, oh, after 1 year, they'll move you to band 4. I said, this one looks like a good opportunity. So I applied. I got called for the recruitment event. They told us on that day that they would have a typing test, they would have a listening test, and then the competency interview. I said, it's okay. They gave us a link to practice our typing. If anybody has ever done London Ambulance interview before, you know that you will type. So I started practicing my typing. Oh, they said you need to score above 35 words per minute. I can't really remember now. But the fact that I got that interview then gave me confidence that, oh yeah, don't give up. Just they go. I had not lost my job, but I just knew that I need to go. Like it's time to like leave that one. It's time to leave. So I went for the London Ambulance interview, did the typing test, did the listening and speaking test, and did the competency test. On my way back from that interview, I got another interview invite for a support role that I had applied for. I was like, wow. That moment helped me to realize something. In every phase of life that you are, take what you can from that season. I'm going to say something today, and I have shot this content. I'm just going to post it next week. And that's what I want to say is every time we pray, this season is my season. is a very popular prayer. This is my season. Lord, take me to my season. I'm stepping into my season. The question is that when you get to your season, can you recognize that you are in your season? Can you recognize? And the way that I see it is patterns. There's a phase you get in your life where if one thing works and you can pick out a lesson from that thing, every other thing will work. When you get to that place, I need you to wake up to the realization that you are in that place and leverage it. If you need to apply for 10 jobs every day, you are in that season. You are there. Like that's where you are. And that also happened that period. I was like, because I got confidence from that one interview that I got. It made me just, keep the fire. just keep it burning. Like, don't stop applying. So I got another interview. I was like, wow. I then went for that one. I think it was the next week. I still kept applying. And eventually I got another data analyst in the council interview. I went for that one as well. Then I got another interview. Like, I was now getting interviews. I think I had 7 interviews. I have a video on my page from like 2 years ago where I said, oh, in the month of 2020, I had 7 interviews and 4 job offers. That was that season. It was that time, that season. And I had those 7 interviews in that period, and I got 4 job offers and chose one of them. The job offer that I chose, there was a strategy behind it, and there was something that I did. In fact, not something. There were things that I did in that place. I spent only 5 months there. There were things that I did in that place that if you can replicate those things in your current journey, you cannot do career and miss. You cannot do career and miss. Eventually, I chose one job, which was a support worker role in another NHS trust. There were so many things that I did the data role. Like, I got it. It was, in fact, that was the highest salary. It was, I think, 31,000. Then I got the band 3 healthcare support worker role. Then I got the London ambulance role. That was band 3. They'll give you band 4. So there were these 4 job offers on the table. And then I was just asking myself, which one will I pick? Options. And that's why I said that thing of season. This thing, I figured it out as far back as 2023, that when you are in your season, tap into it. And it has been replicated over the years. Every time I have like jobs lined up is because I tapped into the season. And oftentimes, if I want to change jobs, I usually have multiple job offers because of just that understanding of seasons, how to utilize the season, and what to do.
Omo, I know you will be taking a short break and coming back. Before we do that, I want us to do something. I want people to have take home. And that's why this section will be a little bit different from normal testimonial. Amen, praise the Lord,
Hallelujah.
God did this, hallelujah. But in between that amen and God did this, what are the practical steps? So that's part of what I would always like to do in sections like this. Now, one thing that you have helped us to see, and many people, I hope you can see it, that there is no racial, in quotes, preference when it comes to value creation. Value that you are bringing in blocks away all your racial complaints.
Totally.
89% of the time. Trust me, 89% of the time. They are not giving us because we are black. It's not totally true. They are not actually giving you because you are not bringing so much value in the front. That's one simple truth. Another thing we started entering into now, we're talking about suddenly you are getting interviews and things like that are flowing in gradually. But you can see that she did not have to create, let me wait until I have complete UK experience. She had to look for a way to create her own UK experience for herself. That's another thing I want to say. Guys, you need to understand, because we're moving to our next question now. When people are trying to look for job, they focus on the wrong thing. Guys, you must understand that when people create job description or job specification, it's because they have a problem. It's not because they are looking for the next family member.
That's right.
The moment you start seeing that and stop pursuing just the job, you have to see that you are positioning yourself differently. And I say that to say this. Number one, when it comes to CV right now, my brain not even dey go that area again. Me, I don't resign for all those kind of things. Or more can help. Why? Because there's a kind of CV you can put on ground that will give you the opportunity to even have that first call. Guys, when you are applying for a job, there are two faces or there are two people that you are applying to. Number one is the recruiter. Why? Because if the recruiter does not select you for the first phase of interview, no matter how sensible or knowledgeable you are, it is going to be difficult for you to even move to the second phase. But unfortunately, the first person who is recruiting you or selecting you has zero experience about the problem you are being called to solve. So, in other words, if I have a CV that is just full of technical jargons and a recruiter has over 1,000 or 500 people that she's trying to sort the CV, number one, anything that will reduce that her headache literally is what she will be looking for to start with. And they are humans. When I was working close to our HR department. So I discovered that as a recruiter, recruitment is just one of the several jobs they do. Just one of the several. So the question is, how do you position yourself at least so that you can start getting interview to start with? All right. So your CV matters. When you are writing to a recruiter or for a recruiter to see your CV, you are not writing for the jargons. She was given a selection of criterias, and that's what the job description looks like. Inside that criteria are some key references. Now, if those key references does not reflect in your CV, bro, you are wasting your time. That's number one. Number two, remember that the person you are talking to does not understand the technical jargons of what you are doing. So you are asking yourself, how can I convert this technical term to something that she can relate with? How she can measure the results. Guys, I have seen that if you don't create your CV in a way that can say, this is what I did, this is what the outcome is, and this is what it has happened to the business. Trust me, a natural recruiter will most likely not see what you are saying. I'm not even talking about the 8 years now, where we talk about the keywords. I'm talking about, okay, the 8 years has selected you. You have exhaustively packed keyword inside. They have selected you. She's now looking at it and looking at Amodu's own. Amodu is relatable. Why? Because Amodu can say, I was giving this. For instance, I'm a carer. I won't just say, I take care of my service users. No. What do you do for them? You can say, number one, I regularly take care of 14 service users daily by helping them to make so. And because of that, it improved their decision making by 30%. Can you see that one I can easily relate with? I don't have to be a carer to understand what you have just said. So you are taking all the technical jargons behind what you are saying, or just saying, I take care of, I take their bath for them in the morning. What do you do? What is the outcome that it comes with? That is the first thing that if you, in addition to your keyword, if you don't structure your CV that way, you'll find out that you will most likely be getting a lot of unfortunate. So or more, I want us to sit down and look and ask ourselves, what are the things I can do? I know we can't exhaust it, so that at least even this my CV, which is the first thing that people use to represent myself, how can I put, guys, all the job I got it through LinkedIn. All the job I've ever got, all the ever offer I have ever gotten in the UK, and after my first job, I don't go looking for job come looking for me. It's called positioning. So how do you position yourself? Literally, if you can run just on few steps for us, so that people can understand. They are not just hearing, I get interview, I was called for the interview. So what were the things that you put in place?
I think that
I know it's
so this is something that I always tell people. The first thing that you want to do, right, is to understand where you are applying to. So all of these things that you said now in terms of CV, of course, they will differ by sector. They will differ by industry. So let's start with the NHS. If you've applied for NHS job before, you know that you have to fill in their form, like manually, like literally fill it out on the website, right? And they have all the questions, and you just need to align yourself with those things. If you're applying for the council, a lot of councils use similar models. Some of them would then require you to submit a CV and still fill out their form. If you're applying for civil service, for example, some would ask you to just tell them your employment history, and then they would ask you specific questions, either relating to behaviors, relating to technical ability, and all of that. Then applying to private sector, startups, universities, a lot of them would require CV, cover letter, or CV and supporting statement. I want to say something first. Cover letter and supporting statement is not the same thing. They are not the same thing. If I ask you for a supporting statement and you send me a cover letter, number one impression I have is that you don't read. That's the first impression that I have. Now, in the private sector, of course, cover letter is usually always optional. Sometimes they'll just ask for your CV. They will still keep the slot for cover letter, but it is optional. In that case, you don't even actually need to send them a cover letter. Just submit your CV. But when they ask you for supporting statement, as the name implies, it is a statement to support your application. It is a statement to back up. You see those things that you have said in your CV, right? Back it up, expand on it. But this time, don't just walk me through the story of your experience. There is a way that I want to see it. There is a way that I want to hear it. And that structure or that format is usually in the job advert. You see that I've not started talking about CV. I'll come to CV. In every application that requires you to write a supporting statement, that job advert will typically have a job description and person specification, either in the body of the advert or as attached documents. A lot of times as attached document. Instead of telling me in 2022, I did this, I did that, just going through your experience without a structure. Me, that I'm going to shortlist you, I've told you, I know that you are very experienced. People that would apply for this role, they have extensive experience. But here's what I want you to do. This is your structure. It is called a person specification. As the name implies, it is the specification of the person that I want to employ for this job. This is the persona, like this is the framing of the person that I want to employ for this job. If you're writing a supporting statement for NHS, council, universities that require you to write a supporting statement, any of that, the easiest way to write it and get chosen for that job is to follow the structure in that person's specification. I want to tell you this. The person that authored that document, they wrote it, number one, so that you tell them if you are a match to that specification. One, they also wrote it as a marking guide for when they are reading your application. I'm telling you that this is the person I'm looking for. Of course, I'm going to be scoring you against that.
So it's like going to the city center and Gideon told you, you will see somebody who is wearing a black shirt, is dark in color with a brown knicker and a blue shoe.
Just like that. So, if you are writing a supporting statement, the easiest way that you can write it and get shortlisted is to write according to the structure. If the first thing I have there on the structure is qualifications, BSc degree, that should be the first thing in your supporting statement. Now, we like to do intro paragraphs. I like intro paragraphs, right? You can do an intro paragraph because, of course, you don't just want somebody to start reading boss. Hello, I have a degree in this. You can do an intro paragraph. 2-3 lines. Keep it simple. Some people are always excited to apply for the role. I'm excited to apply for however you want to write it is fine. For me, I just always pick something about either their mission, vision, values that I really like, that aligns with me. And then I go in to say, in this supporting statement, I would outline how I meet each of the criteria in the person specification. And then I start writing. I pick it, I write about it. It's like you are picking and you are evidencing. You are picking something and you are evidencing. You cannot write supporting statement like this and not get shortlisted. I just want to tell you that. The only way that you can write it like this and still not get shortlisted is if you are not giving examples. If they say extensive experience of managing projects, you cannot come and tell me in English, I have extensive experience managing projects from the year 2022 to 2027 to without actually telling me how extensive your experience is. In any supporting statement, wherever they put experience, skills, and ability, you must buttress your point with an example. You must buttress your point with an example. I have extensive experience managing projects. For example, during my time at XYZ organization, give them context. This is the context of the project, and this is how I managed it, and this is what it resulted in. You must buttress it with an example, not just any example, with a structured example that tells the person that is reading that, mad, this guy has done this thing before, and I am sure that he's going to come to this organization and do it again. Once you do that and follow it through to the end, you will get shortlisted for that job. That's what supporting
At least they will
statement.
first call you for interview.
They will call that you get shortlisted to interview.
So part of what you are telling me is I cannot pick one CV and use it to apply for 14 jobs and say they are not calling me.
Maybe in 2022 you could do that, but in big 2026 you cannot. You absolutely cannot.
So I can't have one CV for all the roles.
Some people have said that they do have, but I personally don't believe that you can have one CV for all the roles.
I can't even do it. I won't believe it because it's now left to luck. It's a product of
I'm spraying and praying my applications.
Exactly.
It is what
so
it
you are
is.
not you are not looking at the problem and facing it based on what I am looking for. So in such a thing, that's when you start hearing people saying, I've applied 100 places. I've applied 200 places and they are not calling me. It's like these people don't like us. It's like somebody who is going for a project manager. You wrote a project manager CV. You want to use it to apply for a project coordinator, want to use it to apply for a project admin role. You can see that there's a difference between those two, even though they are all under project management. So can you see that you are saying that I need to tailor my supporting statement to fit into the perfect picture of what they were looking for? Remember, I said it's a problem they are looking for. That's why they created the image of what they are looking for. The question is, can you fit yourself into that picture so that while I am reading whatever you've written, I can say, this is the person. This is the person. At least let us call him first and hear his voice.
That's it. That's it.
Thank you so much.
So
I know you said you want to go very soon. Are you still
I'll be back at 15 past 8. Exactly 15 past 8. Exactly 15 past 8. So I hope that I meet this audience when I get back.
No, we'll be here. Don't worry, I'll still be on. So she has a very major appointment to attend to for just 15 minutes. So that is why I am releasing that. And normally I will not release that. It's because of the kind of appointment it is. So I will let her go, but she'll be joining us back shortly. All right, so thank you. I want to respond to one of the questions. Thank you so much. I want to respond to the questions that somebody asked, which is a very legitimate question. He said, how can you advise most of us that are mothers or fathers and we have children, we have kids at home, especially toddler? How can we go about it? She says something. I'll start from that place first. Or should I start from second? Guys, if you were sick, note this word. If you were sick, God forbid, if you were sick and you went to an hospital, as the case may be, and suddenly at that hospital, you heard or you were told that a lion was just released and is running around. Remember, you were sick or you were sick and you went to that hospital and they told you a lion has just been released mistakenly and is running around. And they said the lion is close to where your ward is. Guys, you will be shocked where strength will start on from within you. And you that you were suddenly sick will be the one that will be the Ben Johnson running the fastest. Have you noticed when they tell you that dog is pursuing you and there's a fence in front of you, many of you will shock yourself that you'll be the one that will first jump the fence. And I'm asking, where is that strength coming from? That strength technically is somewhere within you, but something had to trigger it. I'm trying to say this, that please, guys, if you keep waiting for the perfect time, if you keep waiting, and all these points we're saying are actually legitimate. Remember, I told you, if you just join me, I was a stay-home dad in that sense. Why? Because my wife is the main sponsor. So I'm the one that was in charge of the children. I have 3 of them. So imagine on top of that, I'll take care of them, get myself ready to go for warehouse, and I'll still be applying for job and be doing interview. I could have said, wow, I'm already under pressure. But one thing I have discovered is, if what I am doing now is not going to change my story, I sit down and ask myself, what is the extra thing I can do? It's going to be pressing, it's going to be stretching, but that is what that season is for you. Why? Because you are looking for one thing that once I can enter into that thing, I would have freedom for another phase. And that's why I'm saying to us that as important as all the things that we have measured is, there is no way things will change if we don't stretch ourselves a little more. I know it could be like say you go die, it could be like say you go kweme, but the truth is, if you don't stretch yourself a little more, it will look as if nothing will change. And the truth is, seemingly nothing will not change, will ever change. Why? Because the things that you need to put in place for things to change, you are literally not putting it in place yet. She's mentioned something about season, understanding season, and I really agree with her. It's like a man who has been told that in this next planting season, if you plant more, you are going to reap more. Guys, as a farmer, is that the season where you will plant the bare minimum or you will go the extra mile? For me as a farmer, I've already been given an inside information that I will make more. What would I do? I would look for a way of planting more. Now, you suddenly sound out, and this is what I tell people. When people say, I cannot, there's a different way your brain works as compared to how can I. The question is this thing important for me? For me, how did I help myself? I will come home around 5:30, sleep till 7, take my children to school, bring the first one back by 11:30. In between that time, Jide would have sat down. Now that I understand what they are looking for in my CV, Jide would have sat down. I might just pick 4 jobs or 4 roles. So what I did was to create a strategy. For instance, I'm a digital marketer. There's something called email marketing. There's something called social media marketing. There's something called, website designing. Instead of me having one CV for everything, what I did was I looked at I went to LinkedIn, for instance. I took about 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different types of email marketing job. And I was looking at what is the correlation. What is the correlation here? What was I trying to do? I was trying to look for what are the things that most likely every other roles in the email marketing space would also look for. So I created a CV that was different for email marketing. I created a CV that was different for media marketing. I created a CV that was different for website marketing, website design and marketing. So at the end of me, all the CV, the CV work to one of guys who are not in me to all jobs at the same time. I started structuring things like that. So you find out that every time I'm applying, I can say that today, this is the kind of job I want to apply for. So you find that I'll be doing less tweaks, even though there's work to do. That's number one. Number two, instead of me saying there is no time to prepare for my own interview, I know what I want to respond to in the interview, but I have not prepared. What do? I pick my voice recorder. I was working in warehouse then. No? I pick my voice recorder. I record all the answers I will be responding to for the interview tomorrow. I go to the warehouse, plug it into my ears, use Udi to cover it, and I'll be playing it all through the night. Why? Because I knew there's no way I could have waited for a time. I couldn't have waited for a time whereby I would have the right time to prepare for the interview. So I had to start asking myself, how can I, within all that I'm going through, utilize technology? That's number one. Number two, the place of mentoring. Guys, there's a way mentoring shortens your journey. Somebody who has done it before. Now that when I was working in my 9 to 5, I was opportune to also be in some interview panel. So some of the things I never knew before I came in, now that I was inside it, I could see it in a different way. I could understand that if you are talking to this person, guys, you know that there were periods I was doing interview and my son literally walked into the interview room. Not once, not twice, not 3 times. My son literally walked into the interview room where I am. But one thing I started discovering that, guys, do you know that the gatekeeper for most of your interview, they are all women? Majority, 90% of them, they are women. So I started asking myself, what is going to resonate with a woman's emotion, with her psychology? Suddenly, I started discovering when my son walking, instead of me to push him out and start fucking, hey, sorry, I said, hey, sorry, Caleb, that is an interview right now. Please, can you just come back later? You know what they were paying attention to? They were paying attention to how do I respond under pressure. Number two, suddenly they were starting telling me that me too, I have my cards here. I'm saying that if I was going to wait for the perfect situation or the perfect time, I might not ever find it. So it's important for you to know that with right mentoring, then with the right structuring, within that same challenging period or that challenging time, you can find out that gradually, you were not getting any interview, you can start getting interview. There was a time I went to do my blood check, to check my blood pressure. And the lady said, hey, your blood pressure is high. What is that? I said, me too, I know my blood pressure is high. But the point I am making here, and I hope the person who asked that question can hear, that if I never did anything, it's most likely, it's also very possible that right now I might still be going for a warehouse role or waiting for a warehouse job. You will never know which one you will do. So for me, I rather have that mindset of culture, of asking myself, what is the task I need to do? If I need to reduce my sleep by 1 extra hour, there are times I moved into interview and my face were practically closing. I was tired. But I knew that if I never did all these things, it go look like say I know Sabi or it is difficult for me to get. But the mentor has given me the thing I need to do. But I know there is no time. I have to, in the midst of no time, try to start creating. Guys, there were times I start sticking all the response I need to respond on my board. I will just be walking to my room. I go read them to remember. Why? Because I found out that if I was to wait for the time where I go sit down, prepare for interview, it would be difficult for me. So, my people, I will not lie to you that it will come easy. When you hear people telling their story, that's why for me, I like to also hear the other story of how demanding it was. But if I never did this, I would never have known that within my possibility and my reality in 2023 was a digital marketing executive role that would change me from working warehouse to working remotely. That would change me. What was COS? It's the same thing. The lady talking to us is also on COS. So it's for us to understand that if you don't understand how it is working and you don't understand what this person is asking for, like I made an example now. I said the person who is looking at your CV, there is something the person is looking for to select you. The question is, do you have that in place first? If you don't have that one in place first, do you know you can keep doing the same thing again and again and expecting a different result? And it will now look like it is not possible. So if I can get somebody to guide me, guys, this more, if you don't follow her, or if you have, I don't recommend many people, if you don't follow her about this thing, it will look like it's difficult in life. She not get two head. Neither did I get, do I have two head? Well done, Merity. So you have to first sit down and ask yourself, is my CV structured in a way that can answer the demands that they are looking for? So that if at a glance they see it, they can sort me out and call me in. Then I have another big problem, which is an interview problem. Guys, when it comes to interview problem, this is one thing I want to see, and it's critical. How are you, my dear sister? Is you must understand that every interview you are doing is a marketing pitch. I don't like talking. I am a quiet person. I don't know how to talk. Guys, it is about marketing yourself. I went for an interview, guy. Many of you don't know. If I don't show you this, you will not understand. And that's why everything you do, every journey of your life, whatever you experience, is an opportunity that will transform. That means there's nothing that happens to you by mistake. There is something that happened to me. I had a surgery back in 2011, back in Nigeria. And the surgery now, when they were doing the correction, they did not correct it very well. So if I take water, see what will happen. So the water literally comes out of my nose. I went for an interview, and the interview was with Erin Shine. I don't know if you know Erin Shine. It's a big dental warehouse company in the UK. I went for the interview. The interview has to do with digital marketing. They were looking for a digital marketing executive. I've done all my research. I've done all my work. So I've been selected for the interview phase, which is the marketing side of the things. You know what? They asked me questions. Many of you, they will ask you questions, and what you are looking at, you can't share from your life experience. And the things, you see the beauty of all this volunteering somewhere, doing things somewhere. All these things can come together later. Now, they asked me a question that why do I want to do this job? I said, I remember back in Nigeria, when I was, to go for a particular surgery, a palatal mass had to be removed from the top of my mouth. But unfortunately, because of the lack of dental equipment and the way the system was, they could not correct it. I now put water inside my mouth. Inside interview, I do like this. She said, "Oh, to you is how me at the market of." Since that period in my life, I had made up my mind that anything I can do to give back to people, especially with my skill and my knowledge from a marketing point of view. See, as I attach marketing and dental together. To another person, that was a reason for them never to do anything in their life. See how as I attach them together, marketing and dental. Saying because of that, I'm passionate about, because they want to know if I am truly passionate about this. And like I said, sometimes you might not be passionate, but you are selling yourself. So out of 10 people that they've chosen for the interview, the question is, how well can you sell yourself? Your CV has said it. We have selected you for the role. This is where you start juggling between experience and stories of how well can I sell myself, so that at the long run, the person who is the real hiring manager. Remember, I said there are two people you deal with. Number one is the recruiting manager, that recruiting officer. That guy does not have any jack information about the technical knowledge. The other person that you are going to meet at the next phase of the interview is who is the hiring manager. That's the person who really have that problem in their department, and they need somebody to come and help solve that problem. So for you is beyond now what you have written in your CV. Is how can I translate what I've written in my CV using examples and create a vivid picture that the person can relate with and say you are the right person. This is why I would like to say another thing that many of us sleep on: leveraging on technology. Mistake many people do is they just put ChatGPT and say, write a CV for me. Guy, what makes you different from the 100 other people that are using the same thing? The question is, I've created a scenario of who I am in ChatGPT or any AI tool. And I said, look at my CV. Look at the request here. What are the possible questions they will ask me? Can you create examples, literally examples that can make me stand out among many other people when I'm talking? Create a scenario around it and give me figures that I can also put to it. So suddenly you find out that the way you are using AI or using this thing is different from the way I am using it. So you start having access to that hiring manager, and what you are doing there is you are selling yourself. Guys, if you don't know how to talk about yourself, nobody will talk about you the best way than you can. It's not, you have to hype yourself more than what you can do. Why? Because there's something that you must show me that makes you stand out, and you are the one I should choose instead of choosing Doreen. So you have prayed. Doreen has prayed. You have been selected for interview. Doreen has been selected for interview. Can you see that all of you are practically doing the same thing at the same level? So what is that extra thing that you can do? And guys, please remember, when you are doing that kind of interview, there was a lady that we chose. There was a guy we were looking for, a marketing and communication exec in my office. And myself and my director were both of the people on the panelists. Do you know we left a guy with 10 years experience for a lady with 2 years experience? Guys, it's not always about experience. It's about how you position yourself. We left a guy with 10. My manager wanted to choose that guy with 10 years. I said, my Oga, if you choose this person, now wahala you dey create for yourself. Why did I say so? The guy came to an interview. You were the one looking for a job. You have 10 years experience. You have worked with BBC. You have worked with several things. So you want to come to our logistics space to work. Now you are talking. I am more of a technical person when it comes to the space when they want to bring you in. So I am the one asking you technical question. But who is the hiring manager? Is my director. That's the person hiring. So I threw a technical question, bam, and it didn't shake the guy. Do you know what the guy mistakenly did? He shifted his attention from my director and was looking at me practically all through the interview. And I said, oh gosh, what a mistake. Sometimes I try to help the guy by what? Instead of me looking my face, I go look down, say maybe he go look my director face. Why? Because I'm the one saying something that I can resonate with. But you have to understand who is hiring you in the space. I don't know if you've gone for a job before, and when you enter into a place whereby they call you for interview, there's one person that usually give you water some of the time. Many of you pay attention to that person. Pay attention. That person says, "Are you okay? Do you want water?" Blah 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 blah. I don't know if it has experienced. I've experienced about 3 or 4 times. And this person, I actually the power player. They are there sometimes not as the most technical role, but just to watch you and see if you are a cultural fit. So they are not just employing somebody who has experience. They are also asking, is this person a cultural fit? Is this the person that will employ and at the long run would have power tussle? We saw the young girl. What stood out for the young girl? She had less experience, but you could see a drive to learn. You could see somebody who was listening, paying attention to attention, understood who to talk to, understood who to look to. Even when I threw her a question that destabilized her, me, I carry the mindset where we come from Nigeria, whereby you know how interview they do for Nigeria, they're like war zone. Until when I reach this country, I discover that an interview is just an interaction. Many a times it's an interaction. Just tell us who you are, what you are doing in a very interactive way. It's not like you are trying to pass through the eye of the needle the way we they do for Nigeria interview system. Don't abuse our mind seriously. It don't abuse us seriously. So I start seeing that it's more interactive. But me, I still they carry my Nigerian vibe. So I go throw them hard question, bad. The people go destabilize. My guy suddenly they tell me, did they calm down? That is where it's not a war zone. But the point I'm making is you must understand all these things. Guys, this thing can never jump on you. Even though all these things are happening, do you understand the power play? Now, this lady, you know what solve and when we say by Oga no can't choose that girl, that boy, they rather choose this young girl. Is when I told her that if you do this, these are the issues you will create for yourself when you bring this person in. You are just going to employ your Oga because the guy has more technical knowledge and he doesn't understand how to play this politics in the workplace of understanding who to put on top and who not to put on top. Until my Oga went to meet HR and said, "This is what we have. What do you think?" You know that HR told them that don't choose this boy, choose this girl. It's not because the guy was not qualified. And I say that to make you understand that when it comes to applying for a role and you pass through and you are into interview, there are two different sides to it, and you must understand how to juggle this thing together. She will soon be joining us now. But before she joins us, I want to say something. Now, if you have applied for the role and you got the role, the question is, what are the first few months that you have there? What does it matter? How does it matter to you? Many a times, and this is what you must understand, there are power plays everywhere you find yourself. If you don't understand power play, you think life is difficult. Now, let me explain the power play in my own space when I entered. When I enter, I say you should do this, what I call the laying the golden egg effect. Every other thing is coming in to do the bare minimum. You are looking for the golden egg, which will cause your name to resonate in different departments. So for me, what was the golden egg? I didn't go and look at what is the top thing that I have to do. And this is why when you are doing interview, one of the key questions you should ask, and you should be ready to answer to ask is, what would you be expecting of me in the first 90 days? Why? Because remember, this person, suddenly you go voice that, this is the problem I have, this is what I'm looking out to, this is how we are looking out to. So those were the things I focused on. I discovered that the website was a major problem. The email structure of what we're doing, the email setup, we have about 40,000 email lists. The way they structure everything just looked like rubbish. So I took those things instead of trying to show myself in many other things that I have skill for. I look at what is the major thing that matters to my director or my manager. That if I solve it and do it well, it will make her look more important in the board of director. Can you see how? Because you have to understand that there are people that will speak for you in places where you are not there. And the moment you can understand this, and that's what Omo was saying about all these aunties, the moment you can position yourself in that way, you find out that it seems like this thing is not as difficult as it is. So you lay your golden egg. What does it mean? It means you look for what is the major problem in that department. Use sleepless nights. Solve that problem. Try and solve it in a way that any other person that hears about it will say, wow, this person is outstanding. Guy, if they want to downscale, if you want to let people go in that department, it will be difficult for you to be the one to let go. So you have to sit down and understand that the reason why they employ me is not to collect salary. Can you see that what we are saying again and again is still sounding the same? That you have to identify problems. If you don't identify problems, especially problems that matters to your leadership, problem that matter to the person who matters most here, because the moment you can solve that problem and make that person feel important, you start seeing that that person going to draw you close. And you don't need to have 17 years experience in that workplace to have it. So you find out that all this color game, the reason why they don't give us is because of our color and things like that. It will start reducing. Why? Because you are coming from a space of value. You are not coming from a space of I am looking for job. You are coming from a space of this is the kind of value I can bring in, and this how I can solve it. I would like to say something. I hope she will join us very soon. One of the major things I want to say, she said it. Many of us don't pay attention to it. She said something about volunteering. Many a times when we hear volunteering, we think it's one big work. The answer is no. Number one, the entry level at volunteering stage is very easy. All of us, practically or literally every council area has a volunteering role. Literally or practically, every council area most likely have a volunteering role. And you know the number of hours you do for volunteering, you'll be shocked that sometimes in a week it might just be 2 hours. But that 2 hours is already putting your footprint as a UK experienced person, even though you never had experience. Number two, if you get there and you use this same principle, I had a lady, she's not on this life right now, whereby she's from volunteering. She was able to secure a job within that same office. Guys, sometimes we wait until we see success saying, this is me, come and swallow me. But the moment you start understanding how to position yourself, and I like using the Joseph principle a lot. Remember, Joseph started as a dreamer. He entered into life dreaming and believed everybody would like him. So because of that, he's telling everybody his dream. But after a while, he discovered that you can tell dream. But if you cannot interpret dream, your value is reducing. Joseph started interpreting dream. That means adding more value to what he had. He did not stop at interpreting dream. What did Joseph start doing? After interpreting dream, when his own opportunity, his own season came, there were reasons why he could have stopped saying he's not doing again. The people where he helped, God, nobody they show up for him. But he kept at it. When his own opportunity and his own season came, he did not just interpret dream. He was profiling solutions. So you are looking at yourself, you enter into that space, you are asking, what's the higher value I can bring? What is the thing I can bring higher than what I am doing now? So you are not entering and say, Father, thank you. Finally, I'm into my dream job. The question is, in that your dream job, do you know that the only way you can increase salary is 3% if you go the normal route? But do you know that you can jump from 3% to increase your salary by 10% within a year in that same space? Omo is back. I'll let Omo continue now. But I believe I've been able to answer that question in a way that I say, it's going to come tough. What you are doing now is tough. Changing level from where you are also is going to tough. But you have to choose which one is going to be your advantage at the long run. So let's continue. All right, Omo. Omo, are you back? Okay, so where's Omo? I'll wait for her. Please, guys. Okay, so let me invite her in. Welcome, Mom, back. Conversation. All right, so I've accepted that invite.
I don't know what happened. What
No
happened
worries,
there?
you're back. You're back there. All right, so I've been able to also help answer one question they've asked, but where did we stop? I know we're talking about the interview
Yeah,
and
we're
job
talking about
specification.
application.
Yeah.
We had covered supporting statements, and
Mm-hmm.
then I was just going to go into CV.
All right.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Thank you for
Your
welcoming
face
me
looks
back.
familiar. Have I met you before?
I don't know, have we
Ooh.
met?
Number one, I like your house. It's
We
fine.
thank the Lord, though. We try to.
It's our own personal property. It's our own. Continue,
You
my
want to
dear
bring
sister.
my leg outside?
Don't mind
Please
me. It's
don't
not
bring
my
it
fault.
out. But yeah, okay. So we had covered supporting statements. Where we were going was CV. So I talked about the supporting statement. To be very honest, if this was in 2022, it would be complicated CV is the easiest thing to write these days. And that's why whenever I see or hear that somebody is paying for a CV in today's world, as in like that, you are paying people 20, 30 pounds to do your CV. I'm not going to spoil business for anybody, but we established something earlier on in the conversation, and that thing that we established is that you cannot use one CV to apply for all jobs. So imagine you pay somebody 30 pounds to do a CV, and then you are using that one to apply for all jobs. See that that's a waste of investment. Thank God Jide is a finance guy, right? That's a waste of investment because there's no ROI in it. And you know that you cannot keep paying somebody 30 pounds to do multiple CVs for you. The easiest thing to write nowadays is CV. You have so many LLMs to your advantage. If you want to use Claude, if you want to use Gemini, if you want to use ChatGPT, if it is Dollar you want to use, if it is the Chinese ones you want to enter that side, you can use anyone at all.
Or more, I think people are aware nowadays that you can use AI, but now the challenge is everybody is using it and it now looks the same across board.
To be very honest with you, right? One of the things that people don't pay attention to is the fact that any of these AI tools, so the way AI tools operate, I call it Gigo, right? Gigo. So they are garbage in, garbage out. It is only what you tell it to do that it will do. And that's why prompting is very important. It is very, very important that you know how to prompt whatever tool you use. I say this all the time. You and I can be using the same tool, right? To achieve a goal. Just give both of us a goal that, okay, the goal is that you generate a CV that will get you shortlisted for this role. The CV I will generate would be different from the CV you will generate. It is what it is. And that's because I know that this tool, it is a tool. That's where people also miss it. It is a tool.
It's not a replacement.
Tool. If you know how tools are used, you have to use the tool. If you don't use the tool will not tool, right? It is but a tool, right? And you have to learn how to use it. I'm not going to sit down here today and teach you prompt engineering, but one thing that I will teach you is that thing that we learned earlier, that person specification is persona framing. That's the same concept you need to use to draft your CV. You need to give whatever tool that you are using a persona. Use persona framing, right? To get whatever you want out of it. I'll give you one free masterclass. Quickly, if you want to get the best out of any AI tool that you are using, don't just copy the job description and then say, write a CV for me to use to apply for this role. It is going to do just that. What you want to do is do persona framing. So what do I mean by persona framing? Give it an identity. Once you give your LLM an identity, it changes the game. I'm applying for the role below. If you paste everything about the job, I want you to act as the hiring manager who put out these job adverts. It changes the game. Because now you have told it. Now you write the job adverts. You are the one that did it. And I want you to act accordingly. I want you to generate a CV based on my skills and experiences. Now, this is where a master CV comes in. You see that one CV that you have, that one that you have always had, that has all of your experiences, your skills and qualifications. That is your master CV. So by the time you say, I'm applying for the role below, you paste everything about the job. This is my master CV. Like, this is everything you need to know about me professionally. This is everything that you need to know about me. You paste that as well. And then you now say, I want you to act as the hiring manager who wrote this job and who advertised this role. And I want you to generate a CV that will get me shortlisted for this role, leveraging the skills and experience that I have, but translating the keywords to mirror this role. The idea is that you input in my CV everything that you want to see from this ideal candidate for the role. The CV that it will generate for you is not the same as the CV that someone that has said, write a CV for me to apply for this role. Never. It will never. And guess what? It's not going to change your experience. But what it would do is that it would pick out the things that are transferable, the things that your experience can mirror to fit that role. And it would pick them out and basically use those keywords, those key terms that will make that CV ATS friendly. You don't even have to say make the CV ATS friendly, because what you
Yeah.
have done with personal frame is that you have given your LLM an identity, and it is going to follow that identity. If you put that prompt well, it is going to say something like, thank you, or I'm going to act as the person that wrote the advert. This is what it is first going to tell you what it is looking for. As the person that wrote out this advert and put this job out there, what I am looking for is a candidate that this.
Guys, if you are not following Omo, there's every chances you'll be missing many job interviews. Omo, continue.
Before it even goes ahead to give you the CV, it is going to tell you exactly what it is looking for, because you have given it an identity. And that's what I mean by garbage in, garbage out. The garbage that you have put in is, this is the identity that you should take. And that is what is required. And that's why I said, you and I can be applying for the same job. And I will generate a CV that would be picked for the role. And you will generate a CV that will not be picked for the role. Another thing that prompt does is that there is an understanding that everybody that is going to be applying to fit the role. But what it is going to bring out here, it is your strengths and the things that can make the hiring manager select you. Because remember, it is writing in the stead of the hiring manager. And that is it. To be very honest with you, I cannot remember the last time I sat down to, I'm writing a CV for this role. It hasn't happened in a long time. It hasn't happened in a long time. And the way that these tools work is, you have every single person has the ability to train AI. Every single person has the ability to train AI. I say this all the time. When it comes to writing CVs, there are so many tools that you can use, but I personally use Gemini. I don't use ChatGPT. And I don't use that Gemini app.
I'm the Claude gang. Me, I'm a Claude guy.
So I'm pro Claude for interview, but for the application, I'm very, very pro Gemini. And I say this, the reason why I use Gemini is that a lot of some of these tools, they tend to do deep research, but Gemini can distinguish between when you're doing everyday tasks and when there is a need to switch to doing deep research. Another reason why I use Gemini for applications is that there is a toggle. So by Gemini, I don't mean that app that you people go and use to generate picture. You know that Gemini app, that one that you used to say, do a background picture of me. I use Gemini on Google AI Studio. A lot of people don't know how to use Google AI Studio, by the way. If you want to know how to use Google AI Studio, you come and pay for it. But I don't use Gemini.com. So Google has an AI Studio. It's mostly used by developers because there's a part in it where you get to build. I'm actually looking at it on my screen. There's a part in it where you get to build your apps. You can also do that picture generation, but there is a part where you can do work. So it's like your workspace. So if you want to, it's aistudio.google.com. Go there, just play around, right? You can actually choose the different Gemini models that you can use. I mean, yesterday they released Gemini 3.5. Amazing.
Omo, please, I beg you.
Amazing.
I beg you. Omo, wait. I know you like us. Guys, when she said just play around, please don't go and play around. And I'm saying that, you know me, I'm a very practical person. When you hear somebody telling you something like this, and they mention one, trust me, between one and the solution, there's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So why am I saying that? I'm saying that why? Because I'm saying follow her. And beyond following her, guys, you must understand that when you see somebody who has generated results, it takes humility to sit down and say, please come and show me. And this is why I am sometimes and many times big on mentoring. You know what mentoring does? Mentoring remove all the trial, error, and mistakes that you would have made. You understand? And you can have the same tool in front of you and you don't know what to do with it. Mentoring is very, 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 very important. Her name does not appear. Just click on her face like this. You will see an image of her face. Click on it and follow, or click the plus sign beside her name and follow her. That's how you follow it. That's number one. I'm saying this why? Because many a times people feel that I can do it by myself is wisdom. Sometimes it's a sign of foolishness. And this is what I mean. Not that you cannot do it by yourself. But look at me. I use myself as an example, and this is how I live my life. If I see Omo is a reflection of where I want to go to. You understand? That means what I am looking for in my future, is already living in it. I go the way where I go old Omo. You go think say that me be a younger sister. And the reason why I'm doing that is it's going to shorten all the trial and error and remove all the mistake. Mentoring does not mean I no get sense. Mentoring simply means I'm leveraging on somebody who has done it before and getting the result quicker without wasting my time. Every big player in the world that you know, every big coach, footballer in the world you know, every big person in the world that you know, if you see something that is in their thread, mentoring. So there is somebody who is already living in the reality of what you are dreaming about. So for me, I listen to them and I ask myself, okay, how can I leverage on their wisdom? How can I use them to shorten my knowledge? So instead of me that I have limited time already, instead of me looking for 6 hours to sit down with Claude and be doing 17 YouTube video and asking myself, how will it go? And I'll use all my life to do trial and error. Can I pay somebody? Me, I use money. I have what I call educational development fund. This month that I'm talking to you, I have paid somebody $450 for a course I will start at the end of next month, of this month. Why? Because to be honest, and this is where we have to start acting smart. Within that money, I know in less than 2 months, that money I will generate and back more. But the thing is, I have now leveraged and gathered the experience. So I came to her at this level. But when I'm living at this level. That means I'm living way more than when I came. So like I told my some of my followers, I said last year, my budget for education is 10% of what I made from my side hustle. And I made almost 40,000 pounds from my side hustle. So I've dedicated another 4,000 pounds to education, to asking myself, what's the next level in this game? Who is doing this game better than I am doing? Who can I mentor under, be a mentee under? Who can hold my hand and show me that this is how I can leverage on these things? This is how I can move on this. Who can shorten my journey? But I'm not saying jump to everybody. That's why for me, I first sit down and ask myself, has this person done it before? In terms of not church, TikTok is funny. There's a lot of church on TikTok. But can I see track record of results that this person has generated? Sometimes the answer to the problem I am praying about is not far from me. But the way I am perceiving it is making it difficult for me to see my blessing. And they say something. Somebody said something. He said, correct perception. God help me to perceive somebody I need to perceive right. So that I don't see the person, because we are all on TikTok, we are all laughing. And I don't see the person and I say, she no be this girl, no be this small girl. She's younger than my daughter. Say correct perception. Guys, there's nothing that you need on earth that will come from heaven. It is on earth already, in the hands of men. It's going to be through men that God will answer any prayer you are praying again. There's nothing new that God is bringing from heaven. We've not seen it before. It's new, not lie. Your work is to ask God, how can I identify the person that will hold my hand from where I am and show me, because this person is already a reflection of what is my possibility.
Exactly.
And hold my hand and bring me into this manifestation. Please, my people, I'm begging you with the name of God. Whatever you are doing in life, if you can identify that kind of person, please hold them by the jugular and start learning. It's important. Anybody that is telling you what he's telling you here, trust me, it's like coming to take buckets out of a river. So it's like coming to take buckets, use bucket to come and fetch water out of a river. That is what you are doing now. So it takes a lot of dedication. I say, I am determined, I am dedicated to say, I want to change my story this year. How can I get somebody that will hold my hand? And I'm willing to give it what it takes. Not somebody that will be pursuing and say, have you done the CV? It's because I don't have time. That's somebody that you are knowing that you are the one pursuing the person. Guys, if there's
Jesus.
something every true, sorry, I'm talking mentoring. I shouldn't be talking mentoring today. If there's anything any real mentor and any true mentor wants, they like when their students show results. You will see the person that seemingly look like he doesn't have time is answering your call more than answering every other person's call. Why? Because you are a testament to their work. You are a testament to what I have taught you. You were a carer. With what I have taught you, you have moved from being a carer to a digital administrative role in NHS. You know, anybody like that who want to pour themselves. So people are willing to pour into people. But the question is, are you a representation of what people want to pour into? She's busy. Everybody you are meeting that you are asking to come and teach me is a busy person. So within their busy schedule, they are looking at how can I give you 1 hour out of my limited hour. So they're asking myself, out of 10 people that I have that is asking me, teach me, who is the person that will be less work, more responsive to what I'm teaching, and can put it to work? Guys, all we are saying today is nothing will fall on your lap. No system was designed to make you wealthy. The moment you understand that you are a product of what you do with your life and how you position yourself will determine your outcome, you discover that most of these things, they are not far-fetched. They are close by. Guys, I'm telling you, if you have not followed or more, there's every tendency that you might come here next year again and be saying it is difficult to learn this thing. It's difficult to cross this thing. I could have said, follow me, please follow me too, because of financial discussion is important. But right now, where my mental space is, I'm no longer in the employment space. But I can't run away from the fact that there are many of my people that follow me and listen to that still need this so that they can cross to the other side. So that's why we are doing this. I do this only once every quarter, whereby I invite somebody like this to come and talk to us. So please and please, I beg you, what is our TikTok name? It's easy to follow. Just click the plus button beside her. There's a plus button beside her name, OMON. Just click on it. You start following her. That is how to follow on TikTok. For me, this is the kind follow for follow you should be doing. Not the follow for follow that is not bringing value. You see why or more? I tell you, you are not a content creator. You are a value creator. So your game is different from just being a content creator. Position yourself there. Many people need to hear more of things like this so that they can move into what they seemingly look like is difficult and know it is possible.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I like the fact that it's somebody like us, one of our color, not be one white person somewhere, they can't talk to us. It's somebody like us that is talking to us. Thank you so much. Another question I would like to ask is if I want to land my dream job, you started it somehow. Okay, so they've restricted the visibility of my life. TikTok don't verse, no verse, we're not going to give you. If I want to move from where I am right now to enter into my reality before the end of this year, can you give me like a step-by-step track? Not in detail, step by step. What are the things I said? What are? Hey,
the accent,
even though they're fake, my daughter will say it's not water, it is water. You put tea. So what are the step-by-step things we can do so that we can move from where we are right now? At least if you never hear anything, that determination, that intentionality, not because you no go hear unfortunate, but you are intentional to tell yourself that the only time I stop is when I get the job. So you keep asking yourself, what can I do better? So Omo, can you give us just like a track or a blueprint of what can we do to get there?
Okay. To be very honest, right? This is not a one size fits all. I just always like to put that out there. It is not a one size fits all. But whatever is being said can be replicated based on your own personal journey, based on what you are doing. The first thing that you can do and that you will do if you really want to make that shift or make that move for yourself is to ask yourself what the end goal is. So one of the things that I do really well that I've learned in the course of my career is how to do process maps. So if you like work in project management, you do like process maps for when you are bringing a new initiative or working on a new project, oh, this is where we are now, this is where we want to go. And I've also taken that knowledge to my own personal life. This is where I am now. That's your beginning. This is where I want to go. That is the end. To find out the things that you need to do, work your way from that end back to the beginning.
Reverse engineering, yeah.
Now, of course, the next thing the next thing you need to think of is where I want to go next. Because it's very easy to do aspire to perspire to you, Maguire. I'm going to use my story, right? Which is just the easiest to put together. When I decided I was going to change my career, the hardest part of it was actually asking myself what I wanted to do. So I'm a very ambitious woman. If you've not already gotten that, it's good that you get it now. Which means that I want to do a lot of things. But coming in on a student visa, what other opportunities do I have to explore? Is it COS? Do I want to apply for global talent? Do I want to start a business? Do I want to do all of these things? There's so many things that you can do. But exactly what do I need to do to get me, first of all, settled, not just settled anyhow, settled in a career that I like? And what does it take for me to get there? So the first thing was to actually decide what I wanted to do, right? Okay, I think that I didn't do data because I realized that even though I am analytical, I am not a driver. I am not a driver. I'm actually a motivator. Like, I don't drive, like I don't push. And a lot of people that do data analysis, because their job is to leverage data to make informed decisions, business decisions, they have to be drivers. But I'm not that. So I said, okay, you know what? Maybe not this. But I can still leverage data somewhere that it will just make sense. I like to talk. I started to do something called a skills audit. So which means that the first thing you need to do is a skills audit. In a skills audit, you do the skills that you have, hard skills, soft skills, you do your qualifications and you write your experience. So to do a skills audit properly, what do I have now? What can I do? When I was doing my skills audit, I started to write down things. I like to be in a position of leadership. I have, of course, leadership skills. I have effective communication skills. I can talk and sell to anybody. By sell does not mean like, oh, I'm selling products, but like in any room, I can literally influence anybody. Like I can talk to you and I would make sense. Good. I'm an astute problem solver. Like you cannot bring a problem to me and it will not be solved. In fact, across my experiences, one of the things that, if you ask my colleagues, say 3 things about Omo, the first thing that they will probably tell you is that she solves problems. And that did not come from anything. It came from doing little things outside of my job role. They know that if there is a problem today, if Omo doesn't have a solution, she will provide you a solution in a couple of minutes. If you were here for the first part of the session, I talked about doing research. Even if I don't have the immediate solution, just give me time. I'm going to go and find out what the solution is. To the extent that in my team then, if any new person joins the team, when they are introducing everybody, oh, meet Omo. You know what? If you ever run into any problem, she's your go-to person. That became the way they introduced me to people. If you ever run into, any issues that you're stuck, just meet Omo. She probably has the answer. She probably can answer you. Okay, I have that skill. I wrote those down. I wrote my qualifications. I wrote the experiences that I have gathered over the years. And then I started to ask that question, what profession can I go into? That time I was doing this thing in like 2022. ChatGPT was not really out there. So I had to do this manually. But today, in big 2026, you don't have to do it manually. All these things that you have written down, literally put it in whatever tool you are using to say, I'm changing careers. This is everything that I am. These are the skills I have. This is the qualifications I have. These are the experiences I have. Based on these things that I have listed, can you give me 2 career paths that I can pivot into? To make it simple. If you don't want to do, give me 3, give me 5 to make your decisions hard. Give me 2. And then when you get those 2, go on LinkedIn. Yes. Go on LinkedIn. When you go on LinkedIn, type picture of the job and read the job descriptions. Do they sound like you? That was what I did. I was like, I heard project management. Okay, project management. I went to one project manager. Oh, nice. Okay. Does this sound like me? They say experience in coordinating this. I'm a coordinator. It sounds like me. I looked at one, looked at another, looked at another, looked at another. I was like, fine. Now I know where I want to go to. I know what I want to do. Can you see something in my story? Inside of this story, Sholakwe did not come to meet me to tell me that she's a project manager and she works from home. And that's the reason why I want to do project management. Julius did not come to me to say that, oh, I earn 70K as a project manager, and so I want to earn 70K like Julius. That's not my why. And that's why you find that people do things that other people have done and have succeeded, but they don't succeed when it's their turn. Guess what? Their why is not strong enough.
Very true.
Because you have skills, qualifications, and experience that relate to project management does not mean that it will make the journey easy. Does not mean that application and interview will not be hard. So if your why is not strong enough, you will struggle there and you will not be able to hold your ground. You will struggle in application, you will struggle in interview, and you will not be able to say, I must break this thing. I must break in.
Even when you get into the job, you still struggle.
You will still struggle. So it was a decision that by myself made, even though I did not know I would get there. At this time, I was still doing my support work. I did not know I would get there, but I had my why and I had where I was going. So now, what do I need to do to get there? I'd already done boot camp. I could not pay for another boot camp. I was not about to make another financial decision or financial whatever like that. I wasn't about to do that at all. Right?
I did two boot camp, one for project management, one for data analyst.
I did it. I actually did more than one boot camp as well.
Only to discover that I'm a digital marketer at the core of my being.
I actually did more than one as well, but at this time, I was not about to do another one. I was not going to do another one. So I went back to the table. Okay, I need to get experience in these things. As a support worker, there are administrative functions that I do in my job that kind of relates with the jobs that I am seeing. Now, because another thing, be specific, be very specific. At the time, I said, yeah, project management, but there are different types of project management. There's construction, there is finance, there is business, there is technical project manager. There are different types of project managers. So which one do you want to do? You have to be specific, because if you're not specific, you will miss it and you will struggle. You'll miss it and you'll struggle, because I'll give you an example. I have some mentees now that are trying to apply for project managers in the NHS. But guess what? Because they did boot camp, and in that CV that they did for them in the boot camp, they did digital project manager. And you are applying for a pathway transformation project manager in the NHS. And in your application, you are putting, during my time at XYZ organization, I built a software. You will never get shortlisted for that job. NEVER. Never. Even though it is still project management. So I said, okay, a lot of the roles that I'm looking at are relating to like clinical project management, like project management in the healthcare space. They require certain level of like healthcare experience, which I am opportune to already have, because I worked as a carer and I'm currently working as a support worker. That's why I said, whatever your hands find doing, be proud of it, because you are planting a seed. Whatever your hands find you that you are doing here now, do you know where that job can take you? Do you know where it can take you? At least I know where mine took me. I know where mine took me. Okay, inside this care, inside this support, when I've actually done the patient support, I need to document. I need to support with, handover notes, care notes. Those things are administrative functions that even as a project support officer, you will do those kind of admins. You would document, you would do minutes. If most trusts don't do minutes anymore. You would do action logs. You would do all of those admin functions. Right, I had a story to tell, but still I now needed the experience, right, that would take me there. Now, that part where we talked about when you go to work, don't go to work just for going to work's sake. In that your environment, there's an immediate problem that you can solve. There is something that you can do in that environment. If you've never heard this part of my story before, it's a very important. Inside of that, my support work, I started to just notice. See, you cannot do life without observing. Observe. Don't everything is not giddy, 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 giddy. Everything is not war. Inside of that place that you are, observe things, observe systems. I realized that every time we do sticker, was there any incident today? If there was incident, was it serious? Not really serious, amber. If it was serious, red. If there was no incident, green. Then there were other colors to define other things that happened, maybe racial slurs, sexual, whatever, other colors. And by the time I got to that place, they had been doing these things. Why are we doing sticker? Shabi, we came here to do it. Once we put it in the note, why do we have to stick it on like a board? What has happened today? And I asked the ward manager, I asked the matron, I was like, please, what's the rationale behind this? And then, because I asked, see, if you don't ask, you don't know. If you don't ask, you will never, ever know. That thing had been done before I joined that organization. It had been happening, right? People had been doing it. They don't even know why. They actually had putting sticker there. But I asked, I said, is there, like, why do we do this? Hey, big screen. Why do we not just document? Is documenting not enough? And then the matron told me, she was like, oh, so every ward is mandated to do a quality improvement project, right? And this is part of our project. Just so that I don't go too deep into my story. They were doing that as part of a project. And as someone that had already decided inside my roadmap that I was going to transition to project management, oh, can I be a part of this? And so I asked, and she was like, oh yes, why not? Inside being a part of it, every resource that I needed was provided for me just because I knew that, I could do more and there was room to do more. So when you are mapping out that your journey, ask yourself the hard question. Inside this organization that I am right now, because I'm not going to go and falsify experience that does not exist. I'm not going to go and manufacture experiences that do not exist, that I cannot defend at interview. What can I do that I can actually use to build that experience? That's the next thing that you will figure out in that journey, in that your roadmap. When I did that, it all happened. To cut the long story short, I started supporting on that project, started doing everything I needed to do. Immediately, I had experience. I had relevant experience. Plus the admin things that I actually do, like documentation, all of those things. I had enough experience to apply for, project administration, project support related roles that had a lot of admin function. And I started doing that. I applied. I was still doing these things in the world. Remember, inside of your doing, make sure that there is no fault found in you. Remember how I talked earlier about capacity? I know that I can stretch my capacity. Me, I have capacity to do more. Because I'm saying this today, pick the one that you can do. Pick the one that is within your power. Inside of that, when it was time to do my observations, my everything, because I already knew that I was doing more, where they will call me Oversabi, I did not want there to be any fault found in me. Inside of that, my work, I still do my job well. When it is the hours or the minutes allocated for me to do this, to support the project, I did it. I make sure that nobody say, because she's doing one thing on this thing, she's not more doing the job that we employed her for. In all that I do is apply wisdom. Apply wisdom. So I was doing that, but it was what for a greater good. Another thing that I want to tell somebody here today, in everything that you'd have to do that will take you to the next level, there will never be one that is easy. Never. There will never be, I'm going to the next level, so it has to be easy. It's not going to happen like that. You would always have to do hard things. You would always have to do hard things. When I was doing this thing, it felt like the hardest thing for that time. I did another thing again recently that I look at the hardest thing that I've ever had to do. The truth is that if I also want to go forward again, I will still do another hard thing. everything that you need to do. In fact, the harder it is, know that the reward, when it comes, it is only but for a time. Once you start telling yourself that this thing that is hard now is for a time, it will be worth it. It will be worth it. It will be worth it. I say this to say that I know that there are some people on the call that just listen to me and say, it's because she doesn't have responsibility. It's because she doesn't have this. It's because she doesn't have that. That's why it was easy. And I specifically say this to mothers. In fact, the fact that you have responsibility, the fact that you have little ones that look up to you should be the driver to do hard things. A single person like me that does not have people that hold me, like people that if anything spoil, it have spoiled for them. I suppose they chill, they relax. Even me, if it's spoil, now let me go carry my bukata. But the fact that you have little ones, see, especially the ones that you brought from Nigeria, wherever, to this UK, that you came to this UK because of them. You now came here, you're not relaxed. The fact that you have them, should be the reason for you to push even more than me that is single and doesn't have anybody that is looking up to me that say, mommy. See, the fact that they are calling you every day, see, their whole life is in your hands. The entirety of their life right now is in your hands. Now you are thinking, this small girl is talking here, she doesn't have responsibility, that's why she was able to do all of those things. Because you have responsibility should be the reason why you need to do more.
Somebody is asking, oh, are you single? Are you taking?
I shall don't have children. So, yet. Anyways, that should be the reason why you need to do more. Every single thing that you are doing, ask yourself, where can I carve out time? Can I carve out this time when the kids are asleep? Can I push my body? You see, this is our body. It was created for us to push it. Oh. There is no boundary that you cannot push your body. I'm going to deprive myself of extra 2 hours of sleep for the next 60 days. 2 hours times 60 days is 120 hours of good that you will do.
Omo, do you know the funniest thing? Wait first, you know the funniest thing? That 2 hours that I say is not available, but is available for TikTok.
I'm not going to talk about that.
Let me not scatter the table. Let's continue. I'm just trying to show people that there is time.
My community members know me. The ones that when I post a video, it's not up to 3 minutes. They have liked. In fact, some of them have stopped liking my videos because once I see that you like it, Papa, I'll say, how many jobs have you applied to today? How many? I will enter their DM. Hello, ma. I see that you're online. How many jobs did you apply to today? You're on TikTok. You're really shilling, go. You are really, really shilling. But yeah. So, and I just said that because I remember that before I went off the first time, somebody had said it that, they have kids. How can they make time for all of these things? You can make time. In fact, one of the ways to tell you that this is a good season, like this is a good time to do life very well. When I started applying for jobs, that 2022, remember I said ChatGPT was not really, really there, right there. I would go for night shifts, 12-hour shifts. The version of this notepad that I showed you guys earlier, I would manually, with my hand, I was writing supporting statements, 1,500 words. There was no ChatGPT write me 1,500 words supporting statement. What I would do, in the afternoon, while I'm preparing for work, around 4:35, I would go and pick all the jobs. Every night, because I used to work night shift. Every night, I made it a point of call that I must apply for 5 jobs every single day. No excuses. So in the evening, while I'm preparing for work, I would go on track and look at the jobs, fill in. If you've applied for any job for, there's skeleton. I fill in all the skeleton. And I know that, okay, it is only supporting statements remaining. What I would then do is, I would download all the person specification document of all the 5 jobs. Download all of the person specification, print it out. I will print it out in paper form and put all of them inside of my notebook. pack my work bag, pack my food, pack my everything. Where I was working then, of course, phones are not allowed when you're doing observation because it was mental health setting. But because they know that, people can be tired. Also, sometimes patients is, if you are sitting down looking, you go sleep. It's that one is not a given. But they are told us like you can either read, book. Some people would do puzzles, some people would even use the puzzles to like engage the patients. Like you can do Sudoku. If you are holding book, is fine for them, but you are pressing phone, you are asleep, that one is not allowed. So I found my own. I don't have Sudoku or puzzle to be doing. I'll bring out my notepad. Where I sat down there, I would bring out the first specification of the first job. I would start writing. Remember how I talked about the structure of supporting statement, following the person's specification one by one. So when I get to the first one, they'll say degree or equivalent. All right, I have a degree in d. I've met criteria one. I write till I'm done. But I just knew that 4 pages would give me that around 1.2 to 1.5 because of the
So
way I write.
you were not saying that the reason why I could not prepare my support statement is because I couldn't use my laptop or my phone was not accessible at work. You had to create something.
I knew what was allowed and what was not allowed. Phone is not allowed, anything, but that you are writing, you are reading, it's allowed. And also, every time we were not on OBS, you have to be in the nursing office. And inside that office, there was desktops, like systems where you write your notes, like the note, what you observed about the patient and all of that. So when I was done, our OBS is 1 hour, 1 hour. That 1 hour. Sometimes when I first started, I could not write supporting statement or the full one in 1 hour. But with time, you become pro.
Practice.
You pro. Sometimes I would have to do twice. So 2 hours, then one supporting statement, 2 hours. When I first started, it was like that. So that means 10 hours of OBS is 5 supporting statements. Then I will go to the office when I'm done. I'll go to the office, I'll take my iPhone, I would snap it. When you snap, then you can copy the picture and then put it on my notes app. So I've converted that my handwriting now to words in my notes app. Then I'll have everything that I've handwritten in my notes app. Then I'll copy what is in my notes app, send it to my email. Right?
Babe, there's no excuse.
That's what I'm saying. Not even now that there's AI. Not even now that there's AI. When I've done all that, we have that hours of like handover in the morning. So I don't do all those things like, log into my blah, blah, blah during work hours. Or when we are doing that handover, when we are done, when you are waiting for either people to come take over from you, okay, everything is already pasted. Remember, it's only supporting statement I need. The target was not to finish everything in one. The target is that by the time I get home from that shift, those 5 jobs have been done. As I have done the one that puts money in my pocket, I would also do the one that progresses me in life. And that was it. By the time I'm going home, 5 done, I will sleep. Again, the routine continues. Then you sleep that night shift sleep. You wake up like 3:30. Come back. By the time I'm done, 4 o'clock, I sit down again on my laptop, pick the 5 jobs for the day. I continue like that. And that was how I did. Remember, I said that I spent 5 months in this place. By the time I was doing that, I was applying for like project-related roles. Eventually got a couple of interviews, and then I got my first project support officer role. And that's how I moved from support worker into the project space.
Hold on, please. Hold on. Me, I like helping people. Why did you get interview?
Because I applied well.
No, yeah, you applied well, but you even applied. You can know it well, but if you know apply, no possible, right? No, I'm trying to say so. Why? Because sometimes we need to show people that it's even easier nowadays than before.
It is a lot
I
easier.
remember when I started my digital marketing 13 years ago. What is AI? Google was the only thing. There was no reflection of what it looks like in Nigeria. So all we could do was they used to call the internet marketer then. But now you have looked at it a lot easier, my people. And I'm saying this to just reiterate what my dear sister has been saying, that there is really, with all sincerity and due respect, that there's really nothing that can stop you. Maybe the only difference between where you are and where you need to get to is number one, the right knowledge, because I know that one is key. The right knowledge. Then number two, the right person to hold your hand and show you that this is a shorter way to do it. This is a better way to do it. This is a longer way to do it. This is a better way. And for me, when I look for people to work with, I look for people who are not just here to talk, but people who follow up on me. Guys, this is golden. Follow up. See what she talk about her post. That when she posts something, I see one of our community members like say, Fana, say you don't post 3 jobs before you dey like my video. Not because it's bad to use social media. There will be the time for social media. Now, for instance, me, I have every time on earth I want to use for social media. Now, but when I started, it wasn't like that. I had to create the journey for myself. So people need to know where you are. But the most important thing is please give it what it takes. Give it what it takes. Your story will never change until you give it what it takes. Like they say, Yakubu manage. Don't give up. It's true. I have never seen where you were stretching yourself, and because you were stretching yourself and stretching your brain, you just die. It's not possible. Give it what it takes. Give it what it takes. I'm begging somebody. Why? Because that's the only way your story can start changing. Come on, let me allow you to continue as we start to rant up something. Guys, if you are asking where can you get this video, I'm trying to do something because people have asked. So what I'm doing is I'm uploading it to my YouTube channel, so that you can go and watch it. Where is my YouTube channel? Just click on my bio. The link in my bio there, you'll see the second button is YouTube channel. I've loaded for the past 4 days. Guys, I do this once every quarter. It's called Smart Financial Move Series. For you to understand that you cannot do the same thing the same way and expect a different result. Zig Ziglar called it definition of insanity. Many of us are trying to look for the life that we came to UK for, but the way we are looking for it, it will be far away before we get it. Why? Because the life is not going to attract the version of you that we are seeing now. So you find out that there's a gap. It's called a knowledge gap. So what we are doing in the past, what I do once every 15 day, every quarter, is I use 15 days of the month. I started from the 15th of this month till the end of the month. I will come every day talking about different topics. The first day I spoke about understanding the system. I am more of a financial person. I teach more finance, but I know say work. The reason why you go work now money. For a passion without money is frustration. So I started the first talking about understanding the system. When you enter into a system, don't just follow what the system is telling you to know. You have to understand that to generate the kind of life you came here to look for, you have to understand what are the advantages. What's the way you can pivot yourself to get the kind of life you came for. The second day, we spoke about dealing with debt. Many people have financial issues just because of free Klarna, free overdraft, free credit. You have to understand all these things. I've covered that second one. The third one, I talked about growing your credit report. Why? Because in this country, that's something that is your report, your risk, what they use to measure if you are credible enough. The fourth day, we talked about budgeting and creating a financial system. Why? Because I told you that it's not about how much you make, it is how much you keep at the long run. So we can make more money, but if you are making it into a leaking system, you just find out that you are working. I remember then I was working as a digital marketing manager, but I was still in overdraft debt of minus 2,800 at the end of every month. Why? Because I noticed my system was leaking. Do you know that when I fixed all the leak all through last year, I had no reason to depend on credit cards. I never used overdraft for 1 day. And I'm saying that these things are possible. It will not jump on you. These are knowledge that if you don't get it, you think that life in the UK is always hard. Yesterday, I spoke about the 4 quadrants, how to move yourself from one phase to the next phase so that you can get the kind of life you're looking for. We are doing the first thing of the quadrant today, which is the employment section. Tomorrow, I'll be talking about business, self-employment. How can you create value, turn your value to something that will bring in money for you? Guys, my side business, just my side hustle, last year brought me nothing less than almost 40,000 pounds.
Hi.
Beyond your 9 to 5, nothing. I was having a conversation with her, before we came online, nothing less than 40,000 pounds. And I'm saying the good thing about salary is, yes, how can I leverage my skill to create a stream? So we'll be talking tomorrow about how do you leverage your skill. It's not always about looking for the next product to create. There is a process in which you can create something that will last long. So that's what we'll be discussing tomorrow. Then next day we'll talk about insurance. Many of us don't take insurance serious. Guys, we'll talk about insurance. Also, will that be point where we'll be talking about building the next generation? I have one of my brother that will be coming to talk about that. His name is Mr. Zion. He's very passionate about children. Many of us say we came to UK because of our children, but that same children, we are not preparing anything for them. We are not training them for the kind of life. So unfortunately, we are raising average children. We have kept our children in the hand of the teachers. Why? They spend 40 hours every week with the teacher. And that's what we are using them to do. Now you see your children telling you, sir, I've tried my best. They don't get that. They tell you, I've tried my best. Which job would you apply for? And they will give you the job because you tried your best. So unfortunately, we are raising average children for the future. So until you sit down and know that this is the reason why I came, how can I position? One of the greatest blessings of what I have done for my children is for them to know that people don't dash you money. It is when you create value, people pay you for it. I see my son talking about how can I create app. I see my daughter, one day my daughter shocked me out of all these things I thought. You know, she shocked me. She took paper and was cutting it, making plain. The mommy was shouting that, why are you cutting it? Stop doing that. You know what she did? And she said to me, he said, I want to take it to church tomorrow to go and sell so that people can buy.
Business.
For me, what she has seen is she is understanding that I can be at this stage, but what is the value I can create that somebody can buy, that somebody who can, you know, that one, there's no cap to how you can become it. Tomorrow, we'll be talking about how do you position yourself so that the next generation, they are not the victim of the fact that we are trying to run after everything and nothing is working. So we have another section where we'll talk about networking, mentoring, and accountability. I've said a little bit about mentoring today. Guys, we'll find out that there are two kinds of network you have in your life. They are the vertical and the horizontal network. What is the difference between it? Which one will take you to where you want to be? And how can you position yourself the right way? So we'll be talking about that. So we have a section where we'll talk about business. I have my brother who will be coming to talk to us, Henry Idea, talking to us about business, so that you can also ask yourself, I am starting here. How can I move to from where I am to where I want to be and really have the life you're looking for? And for me, this is my own key area. I'll be talking investment back to back. So it's going to be a jam-packed 9 days between now and the end of the month. So if you are not following me, trust me, there's every tendency that you might be doing something to lose money. So it's important for you to know that this is one of the answers to the prayer you have been praying about. So the table is being prepared. What will you do with it? Every day, 6 p.m. UK time. 6 p.m. UK time. That is when I'm showing up. UK time, 6 p.m. I'll be here every day, almost till the end of the month. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. But I want to hand over to my dear sister so that we can round up. Because if we lay here, we can be here even up to 11 o'clock. One thing I want to say lastly, guys, is I have been able to speak with Omo. You know, I'm not the one. She said it and it was right timing. Guys, you must know when something is a divine timing. I called her. Why is it this is the time I am doing this? And she's also organizing a training. Guys, I say when you see the answer to your prayer, I pray God will open your eyes to identify it. It's called eyes that sees, ear that hear, and heart that understand. So that I can't keep rolling around the same thing and I'm saying, why is it difficult? She's going to be doing something very soon. I think you said it's June 8th, right? If I'm right.
No, the end of June. It's actually
27th of June. 27th of June. She will be doing something. She called it a 4-hour masterclass. Imagine somebody sitting on a call with you for 4 hours and he's taking you step by step. And she said something, Jide, if anybody that is really willing to create and apply the first job on that same call, that is my goal. So my goal is not come to here and tell you, cho. You will be applying for that same job. At least before you leave that 4 hours, you will be applying for the same job. So it's not just a aspire to perspire. It's a workshop. It's a place, and for me, this is a blessing, and I'll be honest with you. It's a blessing that somebody is saying I will dedicate 4 hours with you. So it's going to be a Google Meet, you know. And she said something I was a little bit concerned, but you know, let's start from there. I said, I hope this is not free. She said it's not free. I now asked the money. I now laugh when she mentioned it. I laughed when she mentioned the money because in my head, I have divided 4 hours and look at what's the cost per hour. Guys, I'm saying that you are going to be stealing from her.
Yeah.
You are actually literally defrauding her. Literally defrauding her. If you join this webinar, how much? She said £25. And she's going to spend 4 hours with you, taking you through how can you apply for a civil servant role or a civil service role. How can you apply for a civil service role from where you are starting to getting your CV and applying for the job. So it's not the how. You will be doing it and applying for the job on the spot.
That's
within
right.
that 4 hours. I need to clock it.
That's right.
You see why I'm saying that you are just getting buckets out of the river. A wise person will not take bucket and say, I'm getting everything. A wise person will ask, how can I dredge the river to my house so that it's a constant flow? So two things you are getting, you are not just getting information, you are getting access. Guys, access is the new currency. Access is a major currency. Somebody say 25th or 27th is too far. Please don't be angry. But she's doing something for this short time is the early bird service. She's keeping it as £25 because trust me, so that we can have the valuable people that are willing to take it. After about 2 or 3 weeks, I will ask her, or more, please increase that price. Why? Because you only need people who are serious and willing to do this. So that you don't end up having 200 people and you're trying to carry 200 people and some people don't join because you thought you will do everything from the beginning to the end for them. All right. So it's somebody that will hold your hand and walk with you. And it's just 25. How much is a cup of coffee? How many cup of
Depends on
coffee?
where you're buying from.
You see, let me divide 25 by 4 hours. How much is it per hour?
Chicken money. I think it comes to like £6. £6 and change.
Well, we need to talk after you have done this your 27 days. You need to talk. We need to talk.
Okay.
But that one, no be like that. But now, this is something for how do you register? Somebody is saying, that's why I say follow her. If you have not followed her, let me show you how easy it is so that you can understand when we say follow her. All right. So if you go to, let me turn my face now and turn to my behind me. This is Omo. Beside her, if you have not followed her, there will be a plus sign here. When you click on the plus sign, it will take you to Omo straight away. All right. So another thing you can do, Omo, don't run away.
No, I'm not running away.
Okay. Another thing you can do is once you click on her face like this, no worry, thank you so much. Click on her face like this, then come here. You see this pop-up. When you open it like this, all right, it takes you to her page. So you can see the right or more. This is her 13,000 followers or more underscore any. That is how to see the right one. When you click on this link that is there, I'm sure the link to the course, to the training, the workshop, or the masterclass should be somewhere within. Like opening it on a new browser. It's usually faster for me as a person. All right, so once I open it, I don't know what's slowing my internet today. All right, so once you open it, I'm sure one of the link you see there, you will see how to get it so that you can register. Please, one thing I want you to do for me, once you register, let her know you are from me, because I want to hold that responsible for anybody who is registering for my place. All right, let her know. Guys, this is called access. It's called leverage. Which one of these is the link, Omo?
It should have been the one at the top. Yeah, because I didn't move it to the top. Oh, just scroll. You see it.
Okay, so it's at the bottom.
Yeah, it's at the bottom. Let me move it. I'll move it to the top now.
Right, so you can see it here. This is the link to it. £25 at the bottom. All right, so just click on it and you can complete the registration. So that is for those who need it. All right, guys, I believe with these few points of mine, and the few points that Omo also have shared to me, we have been able to show you that it is doable, it is possible. You can move from what you are doing now, even if it's a warehouse role, you can literally move from that place into where you want to be. But you need two things. You cannot solve a problem at the level of knowledge with which it was created. There's a higher level of knowledge you need. That's number one. Number two, you need somebody to hold your hand. In this country, I think I've told you guys, I told you now that I broke into 40K, but I didn't tell you how I broke. There was one person that held my hand. And you know the funniest thing, all these things has been inside me. But she just showed me. The day she showed me, she said, I had a bad November. I was on the line. She had a bad November that year. Omo, do you know what a bad November was? She's in France.
100K.
A bad November was the fact that she made 22,000 euros. A bad November. You know the funniest thing? She's a mother of 4. She's the only one taking care of her kids. The husband has left her. So everything in me just challenged me and said, Jide, what are you doing with your life? But you know what that thing did to me? It shifted my mind. Suddenly I had access. I started seeing my reflection in her. Now what she has, I have it. But there's something that is missing, the ability to position it. And guys, mentoring is good though. If you don't, maybe you'll be meeting the DBA kind of mentoring. I don't know. But I'm talking about the mentoring that will hold me. I will say it, it's my space. I'm talking about mentoring that will hold your hand from where you are to where you want to be. Guys, I trust myself and I want to believe that this will be one of the best 25 pounds that you would ever spend to learn how to do this thing the right way. Omo, is there anything you want us to know about the webinar or the masterclass?
So, just to give you a little bit of insight, the reason why I started this or the reason why I decided to do this. So, I have been running my community for a while, over 2 years now. Almost 2 years now, rather, and it's been really, really focused on helping immigrants to navigate the job market in the UK. And of course, coming from NHS background, everything that I have done, everything that I have learned so far, and so many more. I just realized that there were a lot of things that people thought that they knew, but did not really know it in depth. And that's why you find that you would pay for something today, you go back and repay for the same thing again next year, and so on and so on, because you are not learning it to know it or learning it to study it so that you can keep using it. The thing about job hunting is that it doesn't stop until you decide that you no longer want to do job. You want to be like Jide and start a business. It means that if you get a job as a project support officer today, at one point you decide that you want to be a project manager. At one point you decide that you want to be a senior project manager. At one point you would also decide that you want to be a program manager, and you will keep going and you would keep going. That's the point. Now, if you don't master something now, you will come back next year. That next year that you decided to be a project manager, you will come back again and you will come back to square one. So my whole philosophy is that you learn something and it sticks with you, and you can use it whichever phase of life that you are. So
you don't give people fish, you teach them how to fish.
By the grace of God. By the grace of God. If you've ever done anything with me, you will know that that's how we do it over here. One of the reasons why this session is paid is because people don't value free sessions. It is what it is.
Don't call it paid. It's not paid, Jeremy.
It is what it is. So it's good to know that you are putting your money somewhere, and then that money can hold you accountable to what you do. Now let's come to the civil service. When I actually first found out about the civil service, first time ever that I started to read up on civil service, far back as not far again, like in 2022, 2023. Everything that I was hearing online was, how to apply for AO, EO, in fact, AA self, AA. If you know anything about the civil service, you know that AA, AO, those are the entry level. AO, then EO are a lot of content that you would find on TikTok these days. EO, HEO, and all of that. I realized that a lot of people were not talking about, those grades that some of us think that, we have gotten to. Like, I think I have enough experience to start targeting like SEO roles, the grade 7, the grade 6, and all of that. In fact, if you go on TikTok now and type grade 7 or grade 6, you would barely see a lot of content. If you type in grade 7 or grade 6, I can almost tell you the creators that created those contents. Because I know the people that talk about civil service to that level. Some people have just assumed that, you know what, the ones that we can actually do is the EO, the HEO, and by extension, the SEO. In fact, I've seen people create content to say, SEO is the highest grade in the civil service. Meanwhile, there is more, right? People have just assumed that those ones, my dad used to say something, British job for British people. But it's not true. It's not true. And so I started to do my own personal research, and I think that a lot more people need to know. If you don't know this is the first time I will introduce myself as this. I'm actually a grade 7 product manager within the civil service. In case you don't know, let me just put that out there. So if I say that I am hosting a webinar or a master class that teaches you how to apply and interview for civil service jobs. I'm not talking as an EO. I'm not talking as an HEO. Neither am I talking as an SEO. I'll be a SEO. Know that you are coming to learn strategies that would help you land roles, strategies that would actually work for you. So I did a subset of this in January of this year, and the testimonials from that January alone, if you click, you can, WhatsApp does not show previous messages, but if you are in my WhatsApp community, you would already know that even from that webinar, a lot of people were able to get things. I would teach you how to understand the civil service. I will teach you how to understand all of the gradients that exist. I will teach you salaries, structure, RRAs, everything that you need to know. So many people think that, the civil service does not pay well. There are so many retention allowances. I work in Cortec, which means that I have other benefits outside of salary, including, a tech retention allowance, a performance allowance of £500 per quarter, and all of those other things that you can get. Another misconception is that there's no high-paying role in the civil service. In the one that I did in January, I actually showed 3 job roles that were paying above 100K. They are job roles that pay you above £100,000 in the UK civil service. If you have the right skills, if you have the right qualifications, if that is your target, if you are just somebody that just wants to get something and you know that you have just about the experience, just about the skills and qualifications, but you're just struggling with the application, there is the you are struggling with the application. Come, let me explain it to you. But I have decided to do this as a collective. I will say this. A couple of weeks ago, I posted that HMRC is looking for 55 project support officers. I know a lot of people that have gone ahead to apply for that job that will not be shortlisted. 55 is such a large number to not know what to do when an opportunity like that presents itself. And that's why
I thought they used to say that there's no job in the UK.
There's job. There's job. And that's why I am hosting this kind of session, that in one day, every civil service job that you encounter, you would know exactly how to apply. In one day, every civil service job you get shortlisted for, you would know exactly what is required to pass your interview and where to find it. In the civil service, unlike every other sector, everything that they want from you is online, including how they will test you in the interview. You can find it in the job adverts and online. So if you are that person and you've been hearing a lot about civil service, but you don't know exactly what to do, then this webinar is for you. Aside from all of the things that I'll be talking about for 4 hours, 4 hours is such a long time to talk. Every single person would leave that call with submitting one application. Every single person would at least leave that job having submitted one application, except you've decided that, when I come here, I want to doubt. I just want to. If you come there with the right state of mind, you will leave there with something. You will leave there having submitted one. So this is not just a webinar where someone will come and talk. This is a masterclass where you will learn, you would practice, and you would apply. So
I want to ask one question that people are saying in their mind, but they've not typed it yet. I'm waiting for it. Number one, I know that civil service is family friendly. I know it very well that they prioritize, like, you have great advantage in life when it comes to a family oriented person if you work in the civil service. Now, do they sponsor?
They do. They do, really? But again, those are some of the things I will touch on. Not all departments sponsor, and not all roles sponsor. You can even find a job in a department that sponsor, but they may not sponsor for your role. So these are some of the things that we would also talk about on that day.
Okay, another person. Okay, you want to still say something, right?
Because I just wanted to touch on, I see somebody's question. This session will be recorded. It will be recorded, and in that form, you see it asks for your email and your phone number. Please put your correct email, because the recordings will be sent to every single person that registers for it once you pay. So lifetime, you have it.
Wow. Just for £25. So more, let's review this price now.
Just for £25.
Don't let some people punish me tonight. We've been making sense already. I'm just joking. Guys, the reason why I'm saying this is I really want you to value it. I want you to value it. And guys, if you don't have the intention of using it, stop wasting your time. Stop. Guys, I did something yesterday and I did it today and I'll be ending with it today. Except Omo has anything to say.
I wanted to touch on the family friendly thing that you talked about. One of the things that I have told myself that I will do on this journey is that work-life balance thing that we talked about earlier. You know how I said that I'm a very ambitious person and I have so much that I'm doing and I'm looking for the space to do all of those many things. And that's one of the reasons why I like to prioritize organizations that can actually allow me that sort of flexibility. There's so many flexible working arrangements that you can do. There are people that do term time working. So term time working means that you work when your kids are in school, you are on annual leave when your kids are on holiday. No goodness, you cannot apply from Nigeria.
Sorry, say it again. Let me hear.
You work when your kids are in school, you are on leave when your kids are on holiday. It means
and they'll still pay your full salary.
Yes, now. It means that you have that time. You see that work-life balance in your own sense is to be available when your kids are available, like to be present when they need you to be present. There's so many other types. There's compressed hours. I currently work a compressed hours. So I work Mondays to Thursdays. I work 8 a.m. to 5:45. I don't work on Fridays. So it means that I'm off on Friday. So my weekend basically starts at 5:45 on Thursday.
And if you call in sick, they will still give you your full salary.
Yeah, you are sick. You don't call in sick, you are not sick. But yeah, definitely.
All right, so or more, everything that has a good start
definitely
will have a good continuation. Me, I don't call it finish. We are pausing here to continue on the other end. So there will most likely be many questions. But guys, please don't make that mistake of thinking I have to force Omo out. She usually would not like to come streaming. So I think I want to appreciate you for that. So one thing I want you to understand is going to a DM and asking several questions is good, but it might not be the best thing to do. Trust me, I'm telling you. Why? Because imagine having 48 questions. You can imagine how many questions I deal with in my DM inside my busy life. You understand? So for me, the easiest way, like I've told you, you use such opportunity to buy access. You must learn to buy access. Life is access. When you register for that course, every question we want, I beg, how much be £25? £25 that before we finish tomorrow, some of you would have blown it. For me, if I tell you what I do sometimes, I will pay that £25 just to have access to her. Not just because of the cost, but I have access already. Guys, you must value access. So I've been talking about networking. So many of the questions you are asking, please, before you go and sacrifice that £25 and blow it tomorrow without any returns, please just go and register. Take your time. Get yourself ready. There are several questions you ask. Some of you, it might not be useful for you immediately now because of your condition, right? Or what is happening around you. But you have that knowledge already that you can use it when the time comes. And you also have that access already. So please and please, don't just go into our DM and be bombarding questions. That's one of the easiest way to lose out. Please, I'm begging you in the name of Jesus, so that she doesn't look like, Jide, I'm not coming to your live stream next month. Because of the number of questions I'm getting. Somebody say, can I apply from Europe? Is it only for those in the UK or people outside the UK, can they apply? So a lot of times, right, if you are looking for sponsorship, the civil service will not sponsor you from abroad. A lot of times. Before you even start the application, there are so many requirements. One of them being that you already need to have an existing right to work in the UK. So whether you're on a student visa, you're on a post-study, whatever it is, you need to already have an existing right to work in the UK. And of course, if you are abroad, you don't have an existing right to work in the UK. So that's already, in fact, you won't even be able to apply because they have like these pre-application questions that they ask. And that's why I said it. Sorry, somebody said I've not read our comments. Can I volunteer to support the organization of your next webinar? Oh, that's lovely. That's an intelligent woman. Very
Yes.
intelligent person. Please reach out, and I believe she will say yes. If she did not say yes, just reach out to me. Let's see how we can
That
work out
so that
something.
is the thing. In terms of organization, right? There's really not a lot to do. Because,
To be
like I
honest.
said, it's not a webinar. Oh, I'm putting this together, I'm putting that together. It's really a class, right? Where you just come in, there's a teacher that is ready to teach, and the expectation is that there are students ready to listen and there are students ready to apply what they have learned. So it's not like organizing
Okay.
an event per
Okay.
se.
So, don't worry. Let me give the person the secret. Just register for the event. I know what she wants to get, but just register for the event. You'll get most of those things. Omo, thank you so very much. It's been a beautiful night. It's
Thank
been
you.
awesome. I'm grateful to God that we are able to answer somebody's prayer today. And for me, this is the joy. The joy is beyond the fact that we've used almost 4 hours. For
Mm-hmm.
me, I've used almost 4 hours streaming. But the fact that if I can impact one family or one person, I'm impacting more than one person. I'm impacting a generation. I'm changing the story of people. And for me, one of the things I tell people is please be the true representation of success for your children. Let your children look at you and they can define success and they'll say, look at my daddy, look
Mm-hmm.
at my mommy. It's a very major thing because that's where people will start losing their children. I'm very big on this children thing. When my children will look and say, daddy, you are rich now. That means there's something they are seeing. And you know what I keep saying? If you wait for it to come easy, like Omo said, nothing will come easy. Life already is hard. The fact that you came from Nigeria, life is already leading you by almost 3-0 already. You cannot not come into this system and play it safe. Omo, thank you so much. I will be turning my screen to end with something so that I can set somebody thinking tonight and taking action. All right, so I like doing this a lot so that people can see. Everybody in life, this will most likely be a trajectory you will go through. Number one, this is how we would all go through. Now, this is what I mean. From this point, 0 to 18, nobody is expecting so much from you. From 0 to 18, in quote, you are dependent on somebody. So nobody is going to put pressure on you that you have to do this at all cost. All right. So that one is a very good one. But there's another point which is very critical. It's between 18 and I usually call it 60. For me, I've reduced it for my own.
Mm-hmm.
But 0, 18, and 60. Guys, this is the most active period of your life. This is a season whereby I call it you have the gift of time. And this is the place whereby you can create or build. This is not the place to play it safe. This is the place to give it what it takes. So that this other period of your life between 18, God helping you, you live 88 years old, which is another dependency period of your life. You are not at the mercy of whatever you find. What you do in this place will build a legacy for you. What you do in this place is what will take care of this season of your life. So if there's any season where you should push yourself hard, this is the season. But don't push yourself hard by just working hard. I call it working smart. So when I have this blessing of 42 years of my life, which many of us came at 31, some of us came at 40 already, I'm saying that do you know that your time is ticking already towards this season? So this is the prison whereby I push myself hard. This is the season where I give less excuse and I ask myself, what does it take to build the kind of life I want to live? Legacy. Whereby nobody is the one that is putting me in care home when I don't feel like going to care home because I have used this period of my life very well. Guys, this is one of the blessings God has given you. Whatever you are doing here, make sure you are building something that will take care of your future. That's why I say for many of us, we might start with this place of being an employee. Can you make the most of this place? Yes, we came in as carer. We came in working warehouse. We came in that low job. But we came in with 14 years experience as an admin assistant or admin manager back in Nigeria. You know there's a version of it that can increase your earning here. And the only way you can increase your earning is not by doing the low hanging fruit job. You have to increase the value you are bringing to the space. And that is what we are talking about today. Guys, if you look at the immigration, what did you notice? You notice that the more you earn, the less the time you will spend before your ILR. That is almost like the proposal. For me, I don't even wait for the system to force me to make something out of my life. Why? Because I want to make the most of this season of my life. I want to be like what the Bible says, oh, you sluggard, go to the ants and learn. Why? Because during the summer, the ant is packing food and putting in their colony. Why? Because they know there will be a season called winter. Winter when you cannot work again. Winter whereby they will beg you to do 10 hours extra and you don't have strength in your body to do it. Now, when everybody will be complaining that this season, because the ant has packed food, he is taking care of you. Guys, nobody will come to rescue you. You are the one that will decide yourself and ask yourself, what is the life I came to the UK for? What I am doing now, does it look similar to the kind of life I came here to settle for? Will I keep blaming everybody or keep blaming the system except myself? Or I will ask myself, what does it take me to move from where I am right now so that I can make the most of this period in my life? Guys, please, this is my own contribution to our community. And I'm saying that, guys, we cannot keep blaming the system. And the system is not here to favor those who are at the lower end, unfortunately. I am sorry, but it's unfortunate. That's how every system was designed. You just paid. Awesome. How every system is designed. You are the one that will hold yourself responsible for the kind of life you are looking for, and you start working towards that place. I believe with these few points of us, we've been able to tell you that this is not the best of you, and it is also possible to get the kind of life you came here for. But if you are going to do it the same way you are doing it now, Zig Ziglar defined it as the definition of insanity. It's not me that says so. So I cannot be doing the same thing the same way and expect a different result. Somebody said that faith. Well, so it's very important for you to know that for everything you are doing, it's a journey. How I wish I can tell you that this is the one thing you will do that will change everything. I wish I know that one thing. If all of us know that one thing, we'll start to the work. But I like what the Bible says. It said, cast all your bread upon many water. It said, in the morning sow, in the evening don't withhold. Why? Because you don't know the thing you will do exactly that will bring the answer or the next level that you are looking for. So guys, please, this is more than just a TikTok stream. This is more than just an aspire to perspire. What will really make the difference is not what you hear. It is what you do with what you hear. So please, I am begging you, if anything is going to change for your generation, going to change for you and change for your story, you are the one that will hold yourself responsible for it and change the narrative. And this is where we blacks, we need to start rising up. We need to stop coming and complaining and start rising to where we belong. And imagine, and for me, if I don't like anything, this is what I like the Sorosoke generation. We don't gatekeep. They call us loud, but we've done many good than bad in terms of transforming people. So for me, if there is anything you have not gotten from here, by the grace of God, I've been able to connect you with somebody that I can call your destiny helper. Destiny helper does not mean money. Destiny helpers are gift of men. People that can hold your hand from where you are to where you ought to be. It's not always money. For Esther, there was a servant of the king that did that. Everywhere in life, you will locate people. And this is my prayer for you, that God will help you, that you will not commonize everything and everything, that you will lose your time and your season of visitation. It is my big prayer. I pray it every day. God, the eyes that sees, the ears that hear, and the heart to understand season. And I add this last one, the capacity to do, the ability to do, because many of us know some of these things, but the ability to do it in a cohesive way is another thing. Thank you so much, Omo. I really, really want to say thank you. Thank you. You've been a darling.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure coming on here.